We welcome you out to Eagle Rock for the second time this fall, although it feels more like spring. We couldn't have ordered up more of a beautiful day weather-wise. Again, Brett Balbinot alongside Josh Bush. We did the men a couple of weeks ago, so let's do the ladies here today. It will be a duel as Defiance welcomes Wapakoneta. And Josh, a little bit of a breeze takes the edge off the sweat, a little bit of rain about 48 hours ago. This track is probably going to play as true as it ever has so far this summer.
Well, you're absolutely right. And we had a pretty good bout of rain come through even as late as last night in the evening hours. So should be a nice soft course, really play well today. Cooler weather, so kind of rip it a little bit and see what you can get out there. How true will these greens play? Long trip for Wapakoneta this morning too. I mean, that's a 10 o'clock tee off, a couple hours up here. So an early morning for these ladies, and we'll see how they play here on this beautiful Monday.
Well, the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is underway. The first four just coming off the tee box at number 2, so we anticipate having some camera footage for you here shortly. But let's go ahead and break them down, and we'll have plenty of time to break down all varsity 6. But let's start with the number 1s for both teams, and let's start with the host, Defiance, and again, sophomore Ava Heschel-Schwartz. I believe I pronounced it correctly. I've practiced multiple times, just like the golfers do, taking a few practice swings off the box. A sophomore, but she can rip it. She is by far and away the heaviest hitter on this roster.
Well, she came out last year as a freshman, and I think just kind of, surprised everyone and made a nice run in her first year of high school golf last year, and just really came out as a competitor and showed what she's able to do. She's got a nice long ball off the tee, and she places those irons really well too.
And to say she's young would be an understatement. Happy belated birthday to you, Ava. She turned 15 on Saturday, so just 48 hours ago. Josh, she was a starter as a 13-year-old freshman. Wow. That tells you about her game and a very high ceiling.
Well, and two, there's so much room for growth. You talked about the ceiling there. As she continues to grow, obviously we get these kids that are sophomores, juniors. They develop they get a little extra muscle. They develop that as they get older, and she's got a bright future in front of her. Just continuing to fine tune those things that can just make your game a little bit better.
She has medaled twice so far this season. As a matter of fact, she shot a 36 earlier this season at Auglaize. She has a very tight window. Her worst score so far this summer, 39. Wow. So a model of consistency.
And that's what it is. It's consistently coming out every day and making sure that you're playing the game the way you want to play the game. And if you can do that, if you're getting your greens in regulation, if you're getting good solid tee shots, make your putts. Don't leave those extra ones a little short. All those little things, consistency will keep you under 40 all the time.
For Wapak, their number 1 is sophomore Maya Selby. She is long off the tee, but she's also the squad's best putter. So it'll be very interesting to see how the two teams' number 1s square off today.
Sounds like we got a couple of number 1s that are going to go at it here today, and we'll see them coming up. I believe they're just making their way down the two fairway down there, so we should be getting them down in that par 3, number 3 here before too long.
The stump corner, as we like to call it. It's where one of our ace cameramen will be setting up. It's become his area. Matter of fact, we should probably put a plaque or something there for him. What do you think?
I think so. We can figure something out.
Ryan will work out maybe a sponsor for you, for crying out loud. We'll get that thing bronzed by the end of this season. We are just getting underway. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. We are out at Eagle Rock as Defiance welcoming Wapakoneta for girls varsity golf. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
Discover great job skills training at Northwest State. With over 50 different programs available, there is something for everyone. Providing hands-on training and education is the community college advantage.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Back at Eagle Rock, DCTV Sports. We welcome you back. Brent Balbinot alongside Josh Bush, as it is a dual meet here, not an invitational, just two teams squaring off against each other as Defiance welcoming Wapakoneta. Try saying that 10 times fast, if you wouldn't mind. We are past our Estel Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. We are now into the thick of things as you're seeing the first four coming down the number 2 fairway. Josh, we've talked about this a little bit, but the front 9, which is what these two teams are playing here today, number 2 is one of the few holes on the front 9 where you can, if you trust your stuff, just go ahead and grip it and rip it.
Yeah, it's a long par 5 that goes, if you're directionally challenged like I am, it will go north to south along Carpenter Road. It's a long par 5 for the ladies, 433 yards. You got to cross the entrance. As you come in here. I always get nervous when I'm on that hole. I'm like, okay, there's a road to the right, there's houses over there. I don't think anybody actually thinks the houses are in play, but when I'm out there,
depends on how big your slice is, right?
Everything's in play, but no, you get along, and then once you cross the road, it kind of slopes downhill towards the green down in the corner. So you can see that first group making their way onto the green here.
Seeing that, I think the last one for the approach would be Kaylee Harsha, the number 2 for Defiance. They got a little wind at their back off this tee this afternoon as well, Josh. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that'll make a huge difference, but right now we're feeling it. It's probably about 10, 15, gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Just depends, I guess, when you tee your ball up, but Mother Nature might give you a little bit of a hand on this hole.
Well, and two, if you get it up, it's amazing what a little loft on the ball will do. That you get it up in the air and you can see the treetops off to the distance.
Yeah,
they're moving a little bit more than what we are. So, yeah, you're right. And then, of course, like you said, you get across that road, it goes downhill into the green. So we'll see, maybe a little extra help for some of these ladies coming down the number 2 fairway.
Right now, this is Wapakoneta's number 2, Emily Klopfenstein. She was a medalist earlier this year. Chipping is her strength, from what the coaching staff was telling me. Really worked a ton on her short game. And right now, you see the ball being spotted by Ava Heschelschwart for Defiance. So everybody on the green here, and now time to pull out your flat stick.
Well, and this is where you earn the wins, right? You got to chip them up close, make your putts, and all about reading greens here. Obviously early on too, how true are the greens? How, we don't have a lot of sun here this morning. How slow, how fast are these greens? You've really got to get a chance to maybe make an early read and see. It looks like Ava's going to have a pretty long putt here.
Ryan doing a good job, our cameraman, zooming in a little bit. We'll see if we can see the break. There's some slope or some elevation changes off to the side of the screen. We'll see if he'll be able to track the ball from it being struck to hopefully going in the hole. Nice job. Take your bets.
Kind of tough to see from our camera angle there, but
we need a taller tree stump for Ryan is what we need.
Can we elevate him a little more? No. Okay. So,
well, she's marking her ball. Looks like she was just a little bit short.
From that distance, though, sometimes the goal there is just to get yourself in a spot where the next putt isn't going to be even more difficult than the first one.
This looks like Maya Selby was next out. They've pulled the pin, ball being marked, and up next it will either be Wapakoneta's Emily Klopfenstein or Kaylee Harsha. Looks like it will be Harsha. She's got the knee brace on. Coach Murphy was telling me that Kaylee had a rough start to the season, but she's starting to come into her own. Very little practice time, not just for the boys, but for the girls. You're playing, so if you want to practice, a lot of that is going to be up to your own determination.
Yeah, you got to spend some time out on the golf course over the summer. And then, we had Meet the Bulldogs earlier this week. And you heard even, I shouldn't say earlier this week, it was last week. I guess forgot it's Monday already. Mm-hmm. But you heard Coach Weaver was talking about they've already gotten 2/3 of the way through their season, as of last Monday. So you can tell.
That's going to be just short, and she's not happy with herself. She's asking permission to tap out.
And she does. So I think.
And you saw the look on her face right there. She looked skyward. She wanted one less putt on that green. Up next, Maya Selby.
Looks like she might have gone by the hole just a little bit.
As my coach used to say, King Konged it just a little bit there.
So again, though, early on here, hole number 2,
you're feeling out
still
the
trying
greens.
to feel out
Yeah.
the green. You know, for Wapakoneta, when's the last time they've been here to play? But, you know, fast saw, you know, how are these greens playing today? Again, early on in the morning, cool weather. Looks like Harsha just missed hers off to the side a little bit.
I think they're playing a little bit slower than maybe the golfers anticipated. Not unlike when we were out here a couple weeks ago, though. But, Josh, again, give it an hour. As that sun comes out and starts to bake the course, greens especially, they start to play much faster. You've got to be able to adjust.
And we'll see how that plays out. It's still a little overcast so far this morning. We had a little bit of sunshine, but it's actually a little cool out here this morning.
Darn near perfect, isn't it?
I don't mind it.
No. Of course, we're not out working up a lather with our irons, though, right? So that first foursome is through the second hole, as they will be getting set to tee off, and we'll have a good look at hole number 3 coming in.
And this is going to be that par 3, and you know, for the ladies, it's just 130 yards, par 3. But the trick to this is you don't want to get in your head too much.
Yeah.
You're sitting down in the corner. You're at the corner of the road where Carpenter and River Road meet up. Your tee shot, if you leave it off to the right, you've got a row of trees.
Yep.
On the other side of that, you got the road, which leads to the river. And then you've got a nice little pond that tucks, I would say, about 2/3 of the fairway down on that left-hand side. So, you got plenty of room, but you need to make sure that, you know, I think sometimes you can overthink a shot like that.
Yes.
And then you're at the situation where you do something you might not think you might not want to do just because of, you know, just overthinking it too much.
Well, there we have a camera set up at hole number 6. That's the tee at number 6. This hole's going to play a little bit differently than the boys do. I know in talking with both coaches, granted you're playing closer off the tees, but at the same time, you got to have a club that can carry that valley, or this is going to be an absolute disaster.
Yeah, and we'll see how they play that as they get up there. And that does become tricky because they're going to play kind of down the first part of that valley. So you actually, you know, if you're for the boys, you can almost hit a line drive shot if you don't have something that's going to carry. But for the ladies, they got to get something that's going to arc up, get a little loft up in there, and be able to reach that green from down a little bit lower.
So again, that first foursome, it's going to be a couple of holes before we see anybody at number 6, as the second foursome coming up behind the first. The first foursome, again, finishing up hole number 2, getting set for the number 3 tee box. Our cameraman Ryan is in the middle of the action. Hopefully we'll be able to get a good look as they tee off at 3.
Turning around on a stump.
He's young,
he's
nimble.
He's got a pivot. So
the athleticism required amongst our crew goes unnoticed sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to tell you, you got to be an athlete to be a cameraman.
So if he can...
Not to mention, too, there are early birds out on this course as well, so the ladies may have to wait depending on who's in front of them. Everybody teed off at 1, though. This was not a shotgun start. So the first 2 foursomes underway. There you're looking at the first foursome at the number 3 tee box. And this is the heavy hitter. Yep, Ava. You want to say her last name?
Hesselschwart.
Hesselschwart, a young sophomore. She hasn't finished worse than second in any of their competitions so far this summer.
She's been on a very, very solid run, even through her freshman year last year, all the way through this year. I mean, just really, really making a nice mark for her.
Look at that stroke.
Great shot. And you can see the pond that she's got to play over.
Trying to check and see if we found where the ball landed. She cleared that without question, and
Ryan's trying to navigate
and stay on the stump.
Not fall off the stump yet. Maybe get a shot of where the ball landed, but we'll see as they move up. But beautiful looking shot there, and you can see when you're out playing and you have that consistency, that's what a shot looks like.
Yeah. And again, just smooth, slow to swing down. I think sometimes there's a misconception, especially amongst high schoolers, to hit it far, you have to swing fast. Not the case, as this is Kaylee Harsha teeing off.
Ryan's in a tough spot down
Yep.
there on a stump, but
He doesn't want to get wet either.
Our monitor has specks on it. I thought that was a golf ball.
Well,
you ever been out on the golf course and you see a leaf and you're like, oh, there's my – oh, that's not
nope.
it.
I looked for anything that was farther than I thought. I probably hit it. So up next, this will be Maya Selby.
And there you can see how that tee box is tucked down in that corner there.
Yep.
You've got the pond really doesn't stay too much in play except for that front part. Right there in the front, it comes right across the front of the tee box, and then it'll just be tucked on that left-hand side. But if you push too far to the right, you've got the tree line and the road on the other
notice
side.
what she just did there? She re-teed. She hooked her first drive at number 1. So I'm thinking that, not to jinx her, but I think she might have gotten her own head just a little bit there. Because as you mentioned, Josh, that water doesn't play too far up, but if you have a hook or tend to be a little bit to the left there, that could get in your head, and I think she maybe got in her own head a little bit there.
Yeah, and like you said, you're thinking about so much in this hole because you've got like I said, the tree line on the right-hand side. There's cars driving by. There's a cameraman on a tree stump. I mean, all of those things. But no, I mean, anything like that. And again, those little mistakes can be proved to be very costly.
This is Emily Klopfenstein off of 1. She had somewhat of an open stance. She plays a bit of a draw. So we'll see how she handles this. And that looks to be well struck off the tee. Got a good look, and if I think I'm seeing this correctly, that's a heck of a drive. Maybe in the first cut a little bit, but that shouldn't be a problem. That's a chip and a putt for par.
Yeah, and nice shot there, and good work, and we'll see how they can come, how we can, looks like the green's pretty wide open at this point, but we'll see once they get up there where we're at. But again, we're going to have a second shot for one of those young ladies.
And I may have gotten them mixed up. I think that was actually Maya Selby that hit second. And Klopfenstein was the one
Harsha's hitting again from the tee, so perhaps she
was she out of bounds?
She may have gone out of bounds. Yeah.
Oh boy, whatever she did, her body language right there, reaction.
Well, that one looked like she hooked it towards the left, over towards Ryan a little bit. So we'll see where that was. But her first shot obviously could have gone off to the right and been out of bounds, which would have forced that re-tee.
So, again, I don't want to call it target golf on 3, Josh, because there is a little bit of forgiveness. But like you said, if you miss probably more than 10 or 15 feet, you are in trouble on this hole.
Yeah, and again, you need that straight shot. I mean, it's not like what we're going to see when these golfers get down into 5, 6, 7. Those are some
7.
Those are some really tough holes. I know we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but when we get down into that spot, you really have to play you have to have a nice placed ball in that instance. But still, in this one, again, I think what we saw with Harsha on that first shot, I think she went off to the right a little bit. You can see the tree line as they're walking up there. The road on the other side, that's an OB. We saw one go in the drink. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen on a little par 3 like hole number 3.
And I think we're going to see Klopfenstein drop here. Well, there's nothing you can do in a situation like this, Josh. I mean, if you've hit a good shot, if you've hit a bad shot. It's one thing, though, to basically start a hole with a penalty and a drop. This is where the mental part of the game comes in. You got to clear your head and just focus on the next stroke.
Yeah, and that's the key for these. Let's think about this. They're teenage high school athletes, and a big part of the game is the mental part of the game for them, and just being able to come out here and say, hey, listen, I made a bad first shot. What can I do to recover here? That one didn't mean anything. Let's just make the next one count. Looks like she stroked it pretty good there.
Took a little bit of a divot, but it looks like she's down the fairway. And as my coach used to say, that's moving the ball.
Anything towards the green.
Seriously, at that point, you've just got to recover because you're down a stroke already.
Absolutely. And
minimize the damage.
And you want positive yards here. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Obviously, she probably would have really liked to stick the green and find something there, but we'll see.
Probably hear the Defiance Airport in business right now.
Yeah.
That's our aerial crew. They're buzzing the tower here to try and get you the best aerial shots as possible.
Negative, Ghost Rider. No.
Pattern is full.
There's a lot of crop dusters flying over there. So.
Klopfenstein will get what in effect will be her third stroke. And right now, looks like she's sitting for the most part in a good spot.
Just little
chops, more like a chip. She's chipping and running here.
Yep.
And that's going to give a decent amount of run. She looks like she's
went past the pin a little bit. So nice up for her. He'll put her in business.
You'll get style points, right? Look how much Maya Shelby here is choking up. I'm assuming this is going to be a wedge, and she's unhappy with that. Forces a smile.
It's kind of pulled up a little bit, twisted those hands over, and you can see that ball just kind of spin off to the left-hand side there. And you know, on those little chip shots, you've got to make sure your wrist comes through nice and level under the ball.
Trying to see if they're with an actual eye shot of us here. They're still down. Oh, wait a minute.
They're still down in the corner. Yep.
They will be on the next tee box, right?
They will be on the next tee box, correct.
So it looks like right now, Emily Coffin, is this Ava? She a little sandy, it looks like.
She made her way to the beach. She's going to dig in here, and, you know, the key here is make sure you hit through the ball. Don't stop that swing.
You're digging a hole is what we were always coached to say. So many people want to stop. That's good follow through. And did that go off to the right a little bit? Did she slice it? We're looking at it.
No, that was another ball that was already there.
Okay.
Not sure where that ended up.
Well, if this is going to be Selby.
Oh yeah, that Ava left one right on the green there.
The ball must be
I would assume that's Kayla Harshaw off to the right. They're quick here.
This first four is moving.
They are not wasting any time.
Klopfenstein is putting. This is her fourth and just a bit shy. Or is this 5 with the penalty?
Yeah, 1, drop 2, 3.
Josh is doing the 5, math.
Yeah. I'm used to counting those drop for the penalties.
That's part of your regular score.
Yeah, so there's Harsha just off. It looks like in maybe the first cut.
Now this, she's going to chip, and this has got a little bit of right to left break, it looks like, and she played it high, but that's safe. That's a workable putt.
Remember, she re-teed as well, so
yes.
She was dropped to, that's her third shot, so she's laying 3 there. No, excuse me, she's laying 4 there.
Here's Selby, and she treated that with too much kindness.
Coming out of the fringe there, and
she's going to ask to putt out. And got it. And there's where it's running through your mind. That second shot, that approach, she's thinking should have been a par.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, if you go back to her, you know, she kind of pulled her head up a little bit, twisted that wrist over. All the difference in the world.
So here is Ava Hessel-Schwartz. She is putting for par right now.
Left herself a nice putt here coming out of the sand off of her. He ends up in that trap to the right of the green on her tee shot.
Great recovery.
And a great recovery out of the sand. So should have, from our vantage point, I would say maybe about a 5-foot putt.
This looks like maybe a little bit of right to left break. I'm trying to tell. Ryan zooming in here, getting a good look at the young sophomore. Right to left break and just a little short.
Maybe that was a little bit longer than 5 foot, but yeah.
So she'll take the bogey on number 3. And you can see her biting her lower lip there. That's one that she thinks probably got away.
Yeah, she probably wanted that one back for sure, and we've seen that now on 2 straight greens. You know, again, still trying to get a read on the green. You're only through a couple of holes, so you're not going to see everything, but see what Kaylee Harsha can do here to finish out after taking that drop.
Well, she got an education from the other 3. She didn't leave it short. But again, that right to left break looks like it gave everybody a little bit of trouble.
And sometimes, you know, you don't read them just as much as you see one thing and it's going to do something that may not be what you thought. And I know we've all done that before.
Never. Klopfenstein will put it down. So the first 4 is now through 3. And I'm not sure if Ryan can do a 360 here, but the second 4 should be hot on their heels probably at the number 3 tee box. First 4 making good progress. Second 4, we can tell you. The twosome for Defiance is Kenley Manriquez, a sophomore, and senior Lily Whiteford. For Wapakoneta, it will be senior Grace Lamar and sophomore Hannah Lee. And right now you take a look at them on the third tee box. And this is going to be Kenley Manriquez. Manriquez, young sophomore, shot a 48 at Pike Run earlier this year. And that looks like a little bit of an inside-out swing. I'm not sure if she pushed that or not. She hooked her tee shot off of the first tee box. And trying to tell by that camera angle, it looks like she maybe stayed in the fairway, but sliced that to the right just a little bit. Certainly playable.
So we got our second 4 here on the par 3. Sorry, I was trying to figure out where everybody was at.
Doing a little troubleshooting. This should be Grace Lamar, a senior for Wapakoneta.
Well, nice looking shot off the tee.
Boy, she did, using an iron there and staying in bounds, trying to tell where that ball is off this camera angle.
The right side of the fairway there.
And it was a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a rough cut, just a little bit torn up there. I'm guessing this fairway, especially kind of going up alongside the tree line there, might be a little bit more difficult to maintain over the course of the season.
Get yourself a little shade and trying to mow and everything else.
So here is senior Lily Whiteford, and she's not hesitating, and that one was a little bit of an inside-out swing, trying to determine where that ball is, and it might be out of bounds, or did it stick? If that's her ball, that looks like it is buried. It was a laser right into that berm a little bit, so I'll be curious if she may need a drop. Lily, watched her off the tee box when they were warming up, can pound her driver. She is an athlete. She's also a cheerleader.
Yes, she is.
So here's Hannah Lee, sophomore, first-year player for Wapakoneta. Never picked up a club before this summer.
Well, looked like a pretty nice stroke there from a first-year player. Down into the right of the fairway.
I think
Nice.
she'd take that just before the cut. And that's
Nice
an
looking
interesting lie. What do you hit? Because you've got a little bit of a rougher cut right in front of you. You can't necessarily chip and run with that lie.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in because you've got the double cut right there, and you've got to figure out which way you're going to go. So
Use a gap wedge or a 56 degree and just treat it very easily.
just kick it.
Use your foot wedge. Use your foot wedge. We're learning more and more about Josh Bush's game with every passing hole, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
know, they don't let me keep the scorecard. I'm just kidding. I gladly take my 3 digits and move on.
So here's Lily Whiteford. And I was going to say she doesn't necessarily have to punch out, but it looks like she got some good loft on that. And looks like she was able to maybe put it a little bit more center down the fairway, maybe just a little bit off to the right. But that's a good second shot.
And nice way to recover off that first one and give herself an opportunity to get up into the...
Poor Lily topped her first drive at the tee box, and we'll just draw the curtain of charity there. To her credit, because I know what I would have done. It probably would have meant me needing to go to the pro shop to get a new driver. She just turned and smiled, and look, you got to regroup, right?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta make that next shot. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it at that point. You just make your next shot and see what happens.
Now that was a very short backswing, kind of a little bit of a stiff-looking shot, but that's
kind of punch
playing
it up
the
there.
course. Exactly. She punched that, and look at that roll. That's putting for par. That is well done.
We'll take it. As you can see off to our right, Brent, the first group is making their way up the 3 fairway, so we'll be able to I think we've got Ben positioned over that way a little bit, and we should be able to get them coming up the three fairway here before too long. Or four, excuse me.
Yes, that's Lily Whiteford with her third shot, and she is on the green.
Nice shot there from Lily, and going to make it a longer putt, but should be manageable enough for that young lady.
I'm talking again with Coach Murphy. He said Lily is strong, and you can see that just by her athletic build. He said part of the thing is, though, she uses too much arm. We want to get her torso into her shot, make things easier on her. Trying to make things easier on herself, Kenley Manriquez.
Out of the sand, she went off to the right.
She got a little bushy there. So 3 of the 4 are on the green. On par 3s like this, it's usually 2 clubs, maybe 3 max, depending on where you shot. And Coach Murphy was telling me Kenley Manriquez has a love affair with her 6-iron. Said she's worked on her mid-range game and her irons a lot over the summer.
We all have that club that we just love.
It just
right?
feels good, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes
it just feels
it's
good.
more
What is it for you?
It's a 7.
7-iron?
Yep.
I don't have a 7-iron anymore.
Is that from? Do you care to? Is there a backstory there, or do you care to share it?
I bent it.
Okay.
Accident. It actually wasn't on. It wasn't an on purpose kind of thing. It was an accident. But I just left it out of the bag, and so mine is
no longer.
Mine's an 8-iron.
Sitting collecting dust. A hard 8-iron or an easy 6.
Yeah.
All right. Back to the green, and this is Lily trying to putt for bogey. Leaving the pin in. And again, remember, we saw that right to left break here, and I think this green is giving the golfer some trouble.
You see Kenley Manriquez kind of hit behind the ball there. And
boy, that is a really choppy chip, but the green held. I think she'll be okay with that. I believe this is Hannah Lee, the young sophomore ready to putt.
A couple of parents and spectators making their way around with these young ladies. You can see them in the cart there.
That one uphill just a little bit.
Should go ahead and putt out.
And I'm not sure if Grace Lamar has already putted out here, but it looks like this is going to be Manriquez trying to finish out the hole for Defiance. We're really getting a good look at it.
Well, again, these greens have maybe been a little slower than they anticipated to start off the day.
This looks to be uphill a little bit too, and
we're going to say
that gentleman's cart post was right covering the hole. We couldn't tell, folks. We weren't going to rush the call. She was just a bit off. It finishes out here. We'll see if Lily can do the same. Nicely done. And here is Lamar. Well, we switch holes. And this is Ava.
Okay, we're going to go to the par 4, number 4. She's looking to dial that in. Now, this is a 275-yard par 4 that again comes down towards along the river road.
Mm-hmm.
Away
What's the
from
drainage
Carpenter.
like over there? I mean, we see the tree line. Is there water over there? Is there a creek running underneath it, or is it just the tree line?
It's just the tree line. Okay. And then the road, and then the river.
Then the
so
river.
Everything does, I think, kind of drain out that way a little bit. So you can see, can't quite tell who's behind the tree.
The face, we can see the team colors, meaning it's either Maya Selby or Emily Klopfenstein. I believe it's Stein, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're
my
correct.
apologies,
Klopfenstein.
Emily. We'll make sure that we correct that. Myself, specifically. She's our favorite Klopfenstein on the roster.
It's the golfer names, as always.
Oh, Tenora's boys had a slew of them a couple weeks ago.
Didn't they? It was fantastic. Well, it looks like we've got somebody approaching from the...
I'm not sure who's on that hole or green, but if you can zoom in maybe just a little bit tighter.
And she's got a tough approach from over there because the trap is right. She's kind of hunkered in there, so she's going to play it a little bit long. That looks like we're going to come in from the trap.
Is that a brunette? I believe that's Klopfenstein.
And she's not a fan of the beach, I don't think.
Boy, she got a lot of that, and it may shoot the green. It's going to stop in the first cut there.
No, it looks like I think we still have Harsha to play up here. She's going to be... Check that. Maybe she's already made her way out of the trap.
Is that Ben on that hole for us? Ben could zoom in maybe just a little bit more for us here. And we've got a little bit more of the back of the green, unless somebody drives the green, in which case we'll see him dodging with the camera. There we go. So this looks like Hessel-Schwartz with just a short chip. We'll see who's farthest out.
I think they're trying to decide who's going to be furthest out.
Yep.
Talking it
It's
over.
the politeness of golf, the etiquette. No, after you, please.
They're trying to decide.
It looks like Ava is going to... We should have a hazard there, most likely.
Might have been a hazard, yep.
Yep.
Could have been a sprinkler head or something, I guess, on that.
So she takes a drop behind, and now it looks like she's got a pitching wedge, more like a gap wedge. Short iron. She's sizing things up. And actually, Klopfenstein, the farthest out with a putt.
So she'll go up and mark hers, and now it looks like Ava's going to take that chip shot from...
Is she sitting 2 right now?
I believe.
Okay.
That would be her second shot, so this would be for birdie. We were following the second group on the green there, so...
Ooh, and that is going to roll
strong coming out
away.
of there. Didn't quite check up like she was hoping.
Nope. Now that's interesting, because we've seen the greens play slow up to the first 2 to 3 holes here, but that didn't hold. So either
she's kind of even going uphill a little bit there.
So either they're drying out and playing faster, or she just Captain Caveman that one a little bit.
Maybe a combination of both.
Could be.
It's like Kaylee Harsha will get out of that second cut there. Nice up and down. Will it hold? Nope.
Okay. So I think what we're seeing now, and let's not forget, we talk about the sun, the wind can dry out the greens as well, Josh, and I think we're starting to see them play a little faster than through the first 3 holes.
Well, and if you look over where that green's at, I think it's a little sunnier over there than what we're seeing. Of course, we're in the shade, so...
Well, according to the Ohio High School Athletic Association rules this year, you can talk to your team if you're a coach.
Sure.
It used to be you only could have any type of interaction once they've pulled the ball out of the cup and before they tee up on the next box. Here's Maya Selby, a young sophomore. A little feathery. Did she have enough?
Oh.
And start playing the William Tell Overture, just like out of Caddyshack. She's smartly going to wait for it here. Look at her pouncing.
Hoping the wind might help a little
just
bit.
Blow it in. There's no gophers to help her in this situation.
Gophers?
The golfers.
Oh,
the
golfers. Sorry. Great movie.
The second one was not worth the price of admission.
You're exactly right.
Oh, my.
Like so many sequels.
Unfortunately so.
A long putt here for for Ava Hazel-Swart, and I believe this will be for par, but she did not give herself anything easy coming out of that.
Is there a little bit of elevation change here?
I think she's going to go downhill just a little bit.
And screening us out nicely.
It's Kaylee Harsha.
I don't think that fell. It did not. And Ava's going to pick up the marker ball.
So we've seen a couple of greens now in a row for Ava that maybe haven't gone the way that she would hoped.
Kaylee trying to make this the last shot, and
just kind of bend away.
Yep. She played the break, but maybe thought it wasn't quite as sharp as it ended up being for her. Klopfenstein. Look out.
A little strong there.
Just a bit. Well, so far we've seen the first two foursomes. There's still a twosome of the varsity six that are coming up on the tail end of things, but this course is given the first two foursomes a little bit of a challenge here.
It's proved to be a little bit of a tricky course so far this morning, and we'll see maybe as Ava just leaves that one a little bit to the left. And we saw the break when Kaylee Harsha putted her last shot, Brent, and you could see that kind of tail away. Ava just left hers off to the left side a little bit there too. So I think these greens are playing a lot more difficult so far this morning than maybe what they're used to seeing out here at Eagle Rock.
You know, I didn't check. I should have when I went into the pro shop. They haven't moved the holes since the weekend, have they? Or do you know?
I don't know if they would have moved the holes already this morning or not. I would doubt it. It's tough to say, but I would imagine you're probably right that they did not yet move them this morning.
We're looking all the way back at 3 with the final twosome of the varsity here as Klopfenstein about to putt out. So that hole was a little inhospitable for the first foursome,
to say the least. Yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a rough start for the Defiance girls through the first 4 holes. We've seen the greens really been playing some tricks on not just the Defiance golfers, but the Wapakoneta ladies as well.
Somebody's getting a big hug.
Well, that's Mr. Jerry Latta.
Okay.
If you're a Defiance fan, you know Jerry Latta is a retired principal, now photographer, who attends everything for the most part, and
good
catches a lot of great memories for these young kids. So
would you call him a local historian potentially? Is that a good title?
Maybe. I call him a savior, because so many times as a parent I'm the terrible parent who never remembers to take photos, and he takes phenomenal photos. So I have a lot of memories of my kids courtesy of Jerry Latta. Now this should be
Ashton Scholl and Ruth Green.
Yep.
A pair of sophomores.
Ruth just giving golf a shot for the first time here this year.
And did that get wet?
I believe it did. I don't think that was Ruth. I think that was
Ashton?
Ashton, yeah.
Five and 6 for Wapakoneta would be a senior and a freshman. Lauren Miller is a 4-year starter. And then Macy Newmeyer, who has never played the game. Picked up clubs for the first time in her career just this summer.
I think
we're going to camera 2.
Yeah, as we can head over to, I believe that would be the 6 tee box. Or no, excuse me, be the 5 tee box. That's the first group. There we go. As that was Kaylee Harsha teeing off. We're back with this first foursome. And now this, Brent, This is one of those holes. It's for the ladies 242-yard par 4 that, again, goes down and left. And you can see from our camera angle here, if you can stay up on the top of the ridge up here, you're going to have a nice approach to the left into the green. And we'll see.
Boy, Macy Selby is
Looks like
getting
she can
ready to grip it and rip it.
really hit one off the tee.
She's got a little room to work with that dog leg left. And her first shot off the first tee hooked a little bit. Looks like that kind of plays to her natural swing, but I think she's going to be pleased with this one.
And she's going to get a nice roll. That's going to be right up to the top of the hill as long as it stays.
Is it going to? Actually, you want to be in that cut. It looks like that's thick enough to just keep it from rolling downhill.
From our vantage point, it's going to be just to the right of that cart.
Yep.
And she's going to have she should have a pretty good, decent angle into the hole from where she's at there.
So here's Emma Klopfenstein. Again, she tends to play a slice. She has got a slightly open stance, as you can see here. And as somebody who had a nasty slice when I first started, sometimes you just have to learn how to play your swing.
And
look
sometimes
at
you just know it's going to go there.
Yep, that is an open stance. Now we'll see if that slice is over, but it looks like it's going to, and she may be in a similar spot as her teammate. Did she get a little bit more on that?
It might have been off to the right a little bit further.
Speaking of grip it and rip it.
You said her first tee shot was pretty nice?
I think it was, and again, I was eyeballing it, but I thought it was about 220 to 230 on the first tee. So you know how much it carries before you get to that dogleg left on this hole? Probably not quite that much, is it?
No, I usually just go over the trees towards the I've never been one to play the fairway. I don't stay in the fairway much.
Carry the green, absolutely.
It's
now look how open she is here, though. I think she might be trying that. Look at that. I mean, that is just the smoothest swing. And let's see where that ends up. Can't quite tell. She doesn't look like she might be happy with the results of that. Beginning to think this first foursome might be getting into their own heads a little bit. The course has been a little inhospitable, as we mentioned, but this is where you've got to just take a deep breath, hit the reset button.
Well, and you're at that point where you're coming into that gauntlet we talked about when we were here a couple of weeks ago, Brent. 5, 6, and 7. You've got this par 4. It's going to go down. It's going to have that left turn. Green's up, slope green, and then you've got the par 3. That for the ladies with the tee box being down a little bit, you're going to have to loft up to the green. And then you've got number 7, which is down through the valley and around, and we know how difficult 7 is. So you got 5, 6, and 7. This is not the time to really be overthinking too much. Just go out, play your game.
So that first foursome approaching their drives. The second foursome looks like they're about to approach the trail green here. I don't know if we can get a switch over. There we go.
Looks like they're playing the beach a little bit too. And that trap is just one of those that whoever put it right where they did.
Boy, that didn't clear by much, but Hannah Lee, I think, is going to be very pleased with that.
Absolutely.
Approach.
But that green is just off to the right, but it kind of sneaks its way out towards the that entry point enough that it causes some trouble.
Well, with the pin placement here, it's a tease because you're thinking if I hit a good approach shot, if the green sticks, I'm putting probably, 4, maybe to 6 feet max. But if you don't trust yourself, you're going to probably play it safe and approach on the left there, would you not?
Oh, absolutely. And, like you said, you may be tricked a little bit into thinking that you've got more landing spot than you do up there, but that pin looks like it's really tucked pretty close and tight into that side over there by the trap.
Canley Manriquez with a long putt here. Canley, again, sizing things up, waiting for everybody to clear. They're going to leave the pin in, or at least she will.
So this will be a little bit downhill. It's going to have a little break as well.
When you say a little bit downhill, I think it's going to pick up a little bit of speed, probably about the 50% mark there. And she's going to wait, as instead this is Lee putting. And
Well,
now
she
they'll
might
pull
have
the
been
pin.
off she might have been off the green there after that last chip shot.
And now Kenley Manriquez. We'll see if she can sink a long putt. And has that got enough? It's picking up some speed
Yep,
and
there.
off to the right. And boy, did it ever pick up.
Yeah, you can see that it's going to go downhill, and then you can see it even tailing off to the right a little bit. Because remember when that first group came through, Brent, this is going to break right to left, and looks like she just left that off to the. I mean, that's almost the exact same putt that Ava had on coming through on the last hole.
Lily Whiteford with a little golf etiquette there, making sure she didn't step in the line of her opponent. Taps out. And we'll see if Manriquez can do the same. Now, this is a completely different look than what she just did a minute ago.
Oh, absolutely, and it's going to probably go from her right to left a little bit on her way back up the hill. So she's going to have speed and going to hit that break.
And she have enough on it. That's a tease. And
Yep.
Kenley, we
That's
feel your pain.
That's less than a tap in. As Happy would say, are you too good for your home?
Let's see how many. Let's play a new game. How many golf movies can we fit into a broadcast?
There's been a few good ones.
There have been. Although I don't know, Happy Gilmore was truly a golf movie, was it? It was a comedy with golf kind of in the background, because he was a hockey player.
Yeah.
It was a combination of things. Anna Lee taps out.
Bob
and
Barker was in it. So
Bob Barker made that movie, actually. The Price is Wrong. I won't finish it up. This is
Probably better than
yes. Grace
Just
Lamar leaves it just a bit short. And again, this green has given the golfers fits so far today.
And we've seen the first two groups really be challenged by that par 4, number 4, that green. And again, you can see from this angle here, it doesn't look too intimidating, but it's got a lot more movement in there than what you think.
So Cody doing a good job on the 4th green. As we move ahead, if we can switch back over there, Tristan, the first foursome is now on the green at 5. And taking a look here. Is everybody on? Can't quite tell. Actually, this is the back
That's
duo. That's the 5th and 6th golfers.
Correct. That's the group going into the 3 green, which would be for Defiance, Ashton Scholl and Ruth Green, a pair of sophomores. And this looks like Ruth Green is coming from the backside. A little strong there in her approach.
Will that hold? Will that stick?
Off to the left a little bit. Didn't quite make it. So, like I said, she just started golf a few weeks ago, I believe, from what I understand.
Yeah, Ashton is absolutely new to the sport. It's her first year. Ruth basically have no stats on her whatsoever. So we got a couple of youngins new to the game, but still good enough to make 5 and 6 here. So Coach
Absolutely.
Murphy has some
Confidence.
faith in them. You bet. I believe this is Lauren Miller, the senior. She's a 4-year starter. She actually medaled at Shawnee. And Coach Moyler telling me the short game is her strength, although, again, a little short.
This will be Ruth Green. See how she does here.
She's got a little bit of an elevation challenge here when you're hitting underneath or below your ball. Got to make sure that you don't
Up and on and don't
dig
let
a
it go too
hole.
far. She's just going to not. That's one of those things where you just overthinking. If I hit it too hard, it's going to go flying. So maybe we can pivot over to the 5 tee box as
go.
the second group is getting ready to tee off there. I believe this is Kenley Manriquez. And again, this one, you're okay playing to the right a little bit. You essentially you're going to end up going left, but you want to keep it. If you get too far to the left, you get down into not anywhere you want to be.
And trying to get a zoom on the shot there as the sun's popping out. It's kind of bleaching out.
Yeah, we've got a little
Camera
extra
angle.
Got a little extra glare. It sounded good from here. You can see they're kind of coming up into the next group. That's the first foursome is making their way to the 5 green now, and she's trying to say, which way is the hole?
Yes. Trying to make sure she wants to drive it, right? This will be Grace Lamar, senior. Boy, we heard that, and that sounded well struck.
And she hit a nice one out up of the hill a little bit there, so she's going to be in a good spot to have an approach up to the green.
I got a feeling that Lily Whiteford is absolutely going to torch this one. She hit some bombs when they were warming up on the driving range. And again, you see that arms. Coach Murphy has said we're working on getting her to put her entire torso into her swing, because that, again, she's from the,
you can see a lot
from
of,
the waist up. She is incredibly strong. She might have pushed that ball to the right a little bit, it looks like.
It looked like it was coming off the club to the right just a little bit.
And here comes the youngster, Hannah Lee. Now look where she's setting up, Josh. She's almost as far over on the tee box as you can go. So I'm thinking she might play a hook a little bit here. And we lost. There we go.
A nice line drive shot.
I was going to say it looked like it might have been off the toe of the driver a little bit, but
She's
you
off
can
into
see
the right,
again.
off a
So
little bit, but
and again, the wind probably blowing across the fairway from where we're standing. So we will switch over as that's the second foursome.
it's like the first 4 is on the green on number 5. This will be Kaylee Harsha chipping from the French. A nice up and down.
All right. Watching the personalities on the driving range, Josh. Kaylee just didn't say a whole lot. Good shot, bad shot. You didn't see a reaction out of her. She just set another one down and took another swing.
Well, that mental side of the game, right? Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. You still have to throw, you still have to hit the next one.
Yeah.
It's like when you talk to a pitcher.
Can't call
Doesn't
a
matter what
timeout.
happens. Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens. You're still throwing the next pitch.
This is a long putt for Eva Heschel-Schwartz.
Yeah, this is a long, sloping green. As you can kind of see, I mean, it's off in the distance from us here, but you can kind of see as they go up. I mean, that green slopes, I think, a lot more than what our camera angle even is giving us here.
Yeah. This is a bit deceptive. Kloppenstein. Boy, everybody looks like they were just a little short
Yeah.
to hit the green. Now, granted, if you're on, then can you trust your flat stick?
Well, this is a tough par 4. Let's be realistic here. I mean, you're coming down. You've got to make that kind of left-hand turn.
Maya Selby sizing things up.
Is it on now? Okay.
Kloppenstein takes a swing at it, and now Selby.
Good.
Kloppenstein will put out. We'll say this, Selby kind of has the country club look about her, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Pulls up, she's styling, she's got her, bag over her shoulder. Nice job to zoom in there by our camera guy. That is Ben on camera for the screen.
He's doing a nice job catching that 5 green from his perch, kind of waiting. He's kind of awaiting them coming down 7 and able to slide over and get us the 5 green there with the first group as Kaylee Harsha puts one in.
And it Has Schwartz putt out already, or is she still on? Is Selby the last to putt here of the foursome?
I have not seen Ava.
She had the long putt a couple of strokes ago as Selby wishes she had that one back. That's the approach of a golfer that is thinking things through. Now she's going to go ahead and set up. That's what we were always coached to do. It's so easy to just reach over, kind of big time it and tap it in. And I don't know about you, but I can't count how many times I've seen somebody miss that putt because they didn't lock in. Give her kudos. She did what she was supposed to on that approach.
Yeah, and didn't lose track of what you really need to do here, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, I just missed that shot. And then, yeah.
That's when it turns into a Saturday Night Live skit.
Well,
You just miss one, miss two. It's like, whoops. Nope, line it up, putt like you would normally do it. All right, so our first foursome has cleared another green. And where's our second foursome here?
our second foursome should be coming up 5.
And,
or excuse me. Yeah, up 5.
Yeah. That's camera 2. That should be Cody. Tristan, if we could switch over. Take a look at the next foursome. That's.
Yep. There we go.
There we go. This look like Manriquez.
Yep, Manriquez found her way down. You know, like I said, you get down in that left side a little bit, and this is the danger you have. And she's gonna play right down that left hole, like left side of the hole, and that's not the approach you want to take. It is the shortcut, but.
Here's my question. Does she have an approach there? Will she have to punch out depending on her lie?
Well, you can see here as where we're at here now. She's walking
got a little bit
up,
of room.
and she's, you know, the tough part about that is off to that left side there becomes a tree line.
She's struggling just to get her cart bag up. That is
It's a hill.
That's a hefty hill. She's getting her exercise and her weight training in all at the same time. And at the same time there too, Josh, you got to clear your head because that was just off the toe of the iron and it was not what she wanted.
No, and on a hole like this too, you've got to have a couple of clean shots, get yourself up where you need to be, and again, off to the left is not anywhere you want to be because you've got, as you can see in our camera shot here, you've got trees galore that you have to deal with moving forward. We got trees in the way of, I think, just about all of our camera shots.
I was going to say a little Spanish moss. I've learned that from my wife. That is not inclusive of this area of the United States. Well, that first foursome is at 6.
Yep, the tee on 6.
Yep. We can maybe switch over there. That is a beautiful look at the tee at 6. But again, as we talked about, Josh, you got to put some elevation on this because that is deceiving.
And she does.
Klopfenstein looks like she hit a pretty good drive. Now, again, the gateway to that green, though, if you're short, is sandy on both sides.
Sure. And I didn't really see where that one landed.
Well, she didn't exactly hit a moonshot, but I believe she's on, as this is Maya Selby being told off the tee. She's got a little bit of a natural hook, so we'll wait and see where she sets up. We've seen her kind of set up on the far side or the right side of each tee box, and she's using, what are you going to guess here, a 3-wood maybe?
It looks like an iron, actually.
I couldn't tell. I was originally guessing iron, but I thought it looked like a wood. She's resetting. What'd you say the distance off this tee box was?
For the ladies, it is 133.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be an iron, and she sliced that.
Off to the right there.
Yep. Forces herself a smile. We'll see what Kaylee Harsha can do.
And again, you mentioned the tight approach. You've got a little zone coming in there, but you've got traps on both sides. So you either have to fly that up to the green, or know that you're gonna dial it in the runway. Looks like she's off to the right just a little bit as well.
Giving it a look, no real reaction. Kaylee Harsha. Normally, again, Coach Murph said, pretty straight down the middle off the tee. Her best was a 45 at the Salina Links course. I have not played that course. I hear it's very nice.
I haven't been there either.
I have not been outside the city limits of Toledo with my golf clubs. There's a reason for it.
You don't take the show on the road?
I do not. So Ava Hessel-Schwart looking for a little redemption on this hole. Anytime a player of her caliber gets to a par 3, you know they're thinking, I got a stroke here. I can put one in my back pocket. Of course, the approach is crucial. That looks good. Does it have legs?
She's saying maybe off to the right a little bit. Is that what she was pointing to the right?
Maybe off the club. Again, that wind is blowing across from left to right on this hole, but I think, again, it kind of disappeared from our camera side. I think that's on. I think she's probably going to like that.
Yeah.
And look where the pin placement is, too. It's off to the right a little bit. Yep. Time will tell, but...
And we'll see as the card comes in a little bit later, but... For now, let's maybe spin back over to the 5 green as group number 2 is finishing out the par 4.
This is Hannah Lee. And now teammate Grace Lamar will take the honors.
I think she really wanted that one. Can see a little disappointment,
yep.
I think, in her walk there.
Everybody looks to have a short putt here. Is Lily Whiteford the next to go? Drains it.
Let's see if Kenley Manriquez can finish off after a couple of rough shots making her way to the green.
All eyes are on you, Kenley. She'll need one more.
Not a lot going on right now.
Little tap in.
Yep. And Grace Lamar to finish up the second foursome.
Pretty much just finishing up this hole.
Trying to get some action on our last twosome as the second foursome wraps up. You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do that. As the group's going to head down, 7, and we'll catch them on the flip side.
Everybody's favorite hole when we come back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Defiance and Wapakoneta Girls Golf on DCTV Sports.
Discover great job skills training at Northwest State. With over 50 different programs available, there is something for everyone. Providing hands-on training and education is the community college advantage.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. The Strady Center for the Arts, entertainment on a whole new level. The Strady Center for the Arts presents a full lineup of culture and entertainment right here in our community. Check out the full lineup and purchase your tickets today at defiancearts.org. Visit Mark Motes Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Motes Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmotesford.com. Visit Mark Motes Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Motes Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmotesford.com.
Discover top-quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top-quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this...
Discover great job skills training at Northwest State. With over 50 different programs available, there is something for everyone. Providing hands-on training and education is the community college advantage.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Back at Eagle Rock, we are awaiting the next foursome to tee it up at 6. The first foursome, as you can see in the distance, still finishing up on the green. And the 5th and 6th golfers were off to our right earlier. They are about a hole, maybe a hole and a half behind the first two foursomes, Josh. But right now, beautiful day. Couldn't have ordered up better weather for a golf meet.
Absolutely gorgeous. We've kind of made our way in the shade. It's almost cool. Too cool in the shade.
It's LL cool is what it is.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yes.
And I'll be the J, I guess. No.
Anybody under 40 probably has no clue what we were talking about, but since we have a lot of fill time during a golf meet, why not a little pop culture reference? So,
well, and you know, we talk about the sun coming out and things warming up. This is when these greens are going to start to look a little bit different for some of these shots. You know, again, it dries up, it gets faster, and we've already seen how challenging they have been so far this morning. We've seen some really tricky stuff, especially, 4 and 5 have really gotten away from some of the golfers.
The last twosome, I don't know if we have a camera still at that green. They are approaching, would that be, is that 4?
Can we get Ben to swing around maybe?
Yeah. Yep, we've got, again, Macy Newmar and Lauren Miller for Wapakoneta. And for Defiance, Ruth Green and Ashton Shaw. We'll see how good the zoom is on that camera. He's getting it framed up, possibly. And it looks like everybody is on the green, or at least close.
Or close.
Again, you've got, out of these 4 golfers, a freshman, 2 sophomores, and only 1 senior.
Yeah.
Looking at the future of both programs here for the most part. Well, probably just a little out. Oh, there we go. We've got our shot back.
It's weird.
Okay.
We'll see here.
We are waiting for group number 2 to tee off at 6. It looks like they're getting close.
Oops.
Some chipping up and on.
Is this Ruth putting for Defiance?
I think that might be Ashton.
Tough to tell. We are getting this shot at a distance, ladies and gentlemen. Well, at 6, it looks like the next foursome is about to tee off here. If this last group's for 5 and 6. More than a hole behind here. Matter of fact, this hole looks like it's given everybody troubles today, Josh.
Well, and that green is just a little bit, again, it's tough to read. It moves, it slopes, and it's just a challenge no matter what.
Looks like the first foursome is clearing the green at number 6. The second foursome about to tee off. As that last twosome finishing up to putt out here at 4.
Oh. He's by me.
And I think we should probably go to camera 3 here. Is at the 6th tee box. There you go.
Is that Kenley
Manriquez? Show us what you got, Kenley.
Well, it looks good off the tee.
Her reaction looks like she might be satisfied with that. You can give yourself a smile, absolutely. I think she just high-fived somebody off to the left. Those are the types of shots. No matter how much struggles you've had, Josh, you hit that one that keeps you coming back.
Well, and coming off of the last hole, obviously she wasn't happy with the way she finished that last hole. She had a rough approach shot and then left that one putt just a little bit short, had to tap in. So you come back here and what do? You give yourself, you talk to yourself for a minute and then you hit a good solid tee shot on a par 3.
See what Grace Lamar has in store for us here. Looks like that might be pushed to the right just a little bit. Now she could be okay if she's got enough legs to that. As we talked about, sand traps on both the left and the right. I don't want to say that you have to hit the perfect approach shot here, but it's got to be very good.
Well, you definitely don't want to be short. I mean, once you get up to the top there, that green, it's a huge green, actually, once you get up there. And so a lot of room on the backside if you need to get up there as well.
Boy, that sun really beaming down here as Lily Whiteford takes a crack at it, and tough to tell
just where that landed, but
and so now it's up to the sophomore Hannah Lee. Well, the first two foursomes working their way through 9. Next is up on 7. This is 6. And the back twosome. She has a very tight, her elbows are in. I don't want to say she pushes the ball, but she will go for accuracy more so than distance. And this is the type of hole that really penalizes both.
Yep.
Or a lack of both.
And she pushed that one right off the club, right off to the right. I've seen that many a time. Inside out.
When you watch though, her elbows are so tight. I was doing a little instructional video off camera here. And again, that's just where, as you get more and more comfortable with things, because depending on how you're coached, some will tell you stand up over the ball and just kind of pretend like you've got a broom. You're sweeping the grass. I've seen other coaches tell you to take a good 2 steps off the ball, and then you can play a hook or a slice, but it allows you to get much more of a backswing to try and put a little bit more on off the tee. I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way. My game hasn't been able to benefit from either style of coaching.
I think it just depends on the individual player. I mean, obviously, what are you comfortable with? What makes the most sense for you? Do you just grip it and let it go? But again, it's the little adjustments that you hope you see through the course of a match, through the course of the season. As you can see,
somebody was short. Can't quite tell who, but that is a tough shot. Is it Lily?
It might be Lily, yeah.
And I will say this, coaching goes a long way, not just as far as the mechanics are concerned, Josh, but the mental part of it. I mean, you can beat yourself up. We've seen it happen on many occasions, much like the boys a couple weeks ago with Coach Weaver, Coach Murphy here. I don't know that you can find two more low-key individuals. I mean,
absolutely.
You've got to have, number one, a certain amount of forgiveness for self, but you also have to be able to flush a bad shot because, unlike other sports, you can't get subbed out in golf.
Right.
You got to prepare.
Well, and I made the reference earlier about a pitcher. You know, if a pitcher throws a bad pitch, they give up a home run, they hit somebody with a pitch, you know, whatever it may be, you still got to throw the next pitch. And so, you know, I have conversations with my pitchers all the time about that. And same thing in golf. You hit a bad shot, you put one in the creek, you hit it out of bounds, you duff one, you know. I mean, all of those things are bound to happen, but it doesn't matter. You have to flush it, and you have to hit the next shot. So we can shift over to number 5 tee, I believe, as this would be the third group coming through.
Yep. Defiance, this is Ashton Shull and Ruth Green, and Lauren Miller and Macy Newmeyer for Wapakoneta.
Off to the right a little bit there for Ashton, looks like. That out of bounds to play with, so not exactly what you want to toy with on a hole off to the left. Plenty of room to the right, but again, you don't want to go too far. Makes the hole longer.
And again, you just see all that open room, but at the same time, how much of it do you want to use to try and take advantage of this? I think this is a fairway that maybe tries to deke you a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like if you go out to the right, well, you're just going to make it that much of a longer shot for yourself. As you can see, the 150, and she kind of tried to take the shortcut a little bit.
That ball's going to roll.
She'll be down in the valley a little bit there. She's going to be about 150 out, but if she's going to try to get to the hole from there, she's going to have those trees on that left-hand side to deal with.
So up next, Ruth Green for Defiance.
Looks like she's just gonna
slow, easy swing here.
Is that an iron?
It almost looks like it, doesn't it?
We just hit an iron down, and
well, again, personal preference. Some players more comfortable with certain clubs off the tee. This one a little bit of an inside-out swing, and that's going to shank to the right and out of bounds.
To the right a little bit. Yep. So a tough start there for the Defiance pair.
And last to tee off, and I believe this is Macy Newmeyer, the freshman for Wapakoneta. And again, a little bit closer to
she might have been the smart one today. She's got pants on. The breeze is a little chilly.
Well, now that's got some loft. The question is
Is
that off to the right a little bit as well?
Staring it down a little bit. So, well, it looks like our first group is now coming up 7. And
that's Klopfenstein.
Kloppenstein.
My apologies. Emily, I'll make it up to you in the future, I promise. Well, 7,
Damn, it's so cold.
I don't like the phrase target golf, but for lack of a better term, 7 has no forgiveness. You've got to thread the needle.
It's a 276-yard par 4. You start up elevated. You come down into the valley. You've got a creek and some woods on the left. You're going to make a left-hand turn.
Got that high berm on the right, though.
You've got a high bank on the right-hand side. You can see from our angle it'll be on your left. And you can see the creek off to the right. And then you come into a green that does not run parallel to the fairway. You've got to turn into the green, and it, again, of course, has bunkers.
And you can see right there, she's at the turn. That is a sharp dog leg. I mean, you have to manage your way through this hole.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that when you're coming down, you don't, again, you get too far to the right, you're playing off the bank. As you can see, it looks like
Maya Selby, excuse me.
And she gets a nice long line drive shot. She's going to be just down under the green. So a nice shot there from her to get out of that. I mean, when you're on an elevated angle like that, it isn't the easiest, not the easiest way to hit.
Ava Heschel-Schwartz. Looks like she's got a pretty good approach. She's right in the elbow of that dog leg.
Well, and that's where you want to put a tee shot. You're out there far enough that you've got a straight shot at the green, but you're not into that high bank. You don't have the trees to worry about. She should have a nice, easy shot up here
that
towards the
green.
green.
That is the sweetest looking stroke. I could watch that all day long.
And she's just going to be high and off the backside of the green there. So she flew that one a bit to the right. But again, the way the wind is kind of shifted here on us, Brent, that's actually the wind is going to actually play behind her. So might have helped carry that ball just a little bit. But she's going to be, the top right side of that green, and a nice angle there for Ava coming in. I would assume that would be her second shot on the backside of the green.
Well, also with a pretty good lie here, Kayla Harsha. And we'll see if her teammate just gave her an education. Boy, she didn't take more than one practice swing before she's taking a swipe at it.
Can't see it.
Not sure where that ball landed. Tell you what, as the sun came out all of a sudden in the last 5 minutes or so, Josh, rain wasn't in the forecast, was it?
I don't think so.
Some rather gray-looking skies coming in from the east.
The way the last few days have been, I wouldn't necessarily put it past.
Well, that first foursome will take a walk up to the 7th green. That second foursome has finished up at 6, so they were waiting at the 7th tee box. And right there you take a look at having to put a little extra effort in coming up the cart path. Maya Selby has got an elevation change here. And with the pin placement towards the front of this green, is there a little bit of a false front on this green as well?
Oh, absolutely. When you come in, you make that kind of a turn off of the fairway, and you've got to kind of get up to the front, and then it's, yeah, you're right, that pin is kind of tucked up towards the front of the green.
Kaylee Harsha left that one a little short. Somebody's in the sand trap there. Might be Klopfenstein.
A much better shot that time from Kaylee. And again, from that angle coming in, and maybe Ava Heschel-Schwartz had it right where that pin's at. She was probably trying to hit the backside of that green. Left it off to the right just a little bit, knowing that her approach was going to be a little tough.
Yep.
Going right at the pin.
If you're coming down here, that pin placement on this one makes a difficult hole even more so, because I'm looking at the elevation change. If you aren't careful, you're going to roll right down the front of that false front again. This is a tricky hole, as Selby will try and chip on from the side. In all honesty, she may have the best look right now of the four. It doesn't quite have the carry I think she wanted. I'm not sure who designed this hole, but they must have been mad at the world the morning they did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
My goodness. This is a tough enough hole as it is, but where that pin placement is, this is nasty.
Well, they say this is, the hardest hole on this side.
The front nine?
For the front nine.
Without question.
Actually, for the women, it is not.
What's the difficulty? What's technically the toughest hole?
1.
Okay.
1 and then 8. 1, 8, 2.
Well, you can see the elevation change there, and with Selby to putt, you really have to be darn near perfect here. Look at the drop on that, and that's about as well played as you can get.
Putt. Yeah,
tremendous.
Absolutely phenomenal putt.
Look at her little hop in her step. She couldn't hide it. She was happy with that one, and she should be.
Yeah, that's a great putt from a long ways away. Coming back downhill a little bit here. And you'll see Ava's going to have a tough chip out of that second cut back there. Again, down towards that short end of the front of the green.
Normally, what do they say? Don't leave an approach or a putt short. But in this case, I think it would be the opposite. You don't want to
And she left that one a little too short.
A little too short.
And sometimes you get into that second cut, Brian. You know, you can get a little bit under the golf ball. Sometimes you try to get, you want that little punch out of there, but sometimes you get a little too cute and it just kind of flops up on you.
This is where the course can get in your head a little bit. So we're approaching the noon hour here. They've been going since 10 o'clock. I don't know what they're making at. Firestone wouldn't be open at this point in time, would it? Would be the restaurant upstairs. Whatever they're
Sweetwater.
making. Sweetwater. Whatever they're making smells fantastic.
Oh, it does. It does. And if you haven't had their salad bar, my goodness, is it good.
I've been there once, and I had the tenderloin, pork tenderloin.
Yeah.
It was tremendous. I had it Iowa style.
Yeah.
Technically, onions, pickles, and mustard. That's what you're supposed to have on them.
Okay. Take your word for it.
I moved to Ohio here, and everybody's like, tenderloin? What are you talking about? I'm like, a pork tenderloin. I think they call it a, it's not a fritter. They have it listed differently on the menu. Hasselschwartz trying to sink her teeth into this putt. You know what, though? That's okay. Because if she's probably a little harder, all of a sudden the elevation's going to take care of it, and now you're going to be putting uphill. That's as well played as you possibly probably could.
So she'll mark, and Kaylee Harsher will try to finish off here. Greens have not been too friendly to any of these golfers here today.
Through the first 7, I don't think we've seen anybody really able to gauge them. This has got a little on it. Now, all of a sudden, not bad, though. What could have happened there was gravity could have taken over a lot more. Again, just enough on it. And now putting uphill for, what was that, probably about 4 feet or so? That should be more than workable.
So we'll see if Ava can, looks like she's going to try and close out her hole.
I was talking with Coach Murphy about Ava specifically. Again, just 15 years old. Happy birthday as of Saturday.
Yep.
But her goal is to get to state. And I said, well, you know where all roads lead through here? And he goes, Stone Ridge. And she hit, well done there.
Nice par.
Played a 74 at Stone Ridge the last time she played. So, yeah.
It's impressive.
More than impressive. The goal to get there is certainly within reach for her. Not that we're going to graduate her just too soon.
Yeah.
But she's still plenty of time between now and then.
Couple of years left to achieve that goal.
Kaylee Harsha finishes out. And the first foursome is now clearing the 7th tee. And I know that the second foursome was sitting at the tee box there, so they're hot on their heels.
They should be coming right down, right in behind there, I believe.
Of course, the
third group is finishing up on the tee, or excuse me, on the green on 5. As we can see off in the distance.
Yeah, we're able to see them from where we're standing, our vantage point. First foursome now heading to the 8th tee box.
As we can see, it looks like, is it Ashton maybe coming up over here on our left?
Trying to tell.
Now looks like a couple of golfers have made their way onto that high bank there on hole number 7.
Well, the first foursome's coming right in front of us on the 8th tee box here. In a situation where I wouldn't call this, would you call this a grip it and rip it fairway?
Oh, it certainly could be.
It's pretty straight. I mean, there's some trees kind of dotted up on the left side, obviously on the right too where we're standing.
But it is a fairly open fairway.
We can actually pop our heads through here.
We can actually see them
look
teeing
important with our microphones as we come up alongside here.
As I think we've actually got Cody rotated around to this 8 green as well, or excuse me, the 8 tee box.
So we'll get a good look at them here. All 4 golfers seem to be in good spirits.
So as they approach the last couple of holes, Brent. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago with the boys.
Yep.
You come out of 5, 6, 7. You kind of almost a little sigh of relief as you see.
This is almost like dessert. You've had to go through a really long meal, and now you get to kind of get a piece of candy on this tee box, don't you?
And we'll see as they will take their time and tee one up here.
Now, we'll say this, normally I wouldn't stand where we are standing, but I trust the first foursome enough that nobody is going to slice it so sharply that we would have to move out of the way. Especially
I'm going to stand behind you. No, I'm just kidding.
Come over here behind this tree.
I believe this will be Ava Hesselschwart teeing up first for Defiance.
And again, just the sweetest swing. Oh, look at this, going through making sure her stance is straight. And it looks like she's hit a beauty.
Just a nice tee shot. And Brent, you said it. She took her time, made sure she was lined up, and that one is right down the middle of the fairway.
Yep.
I don't think you could hit a better ball.
Well done. So Maya Selby, now she's asking questions, and I can see why here, Josh, because you can get a little bit of depth perception issues here. There's 3 pins.
Sure, absolutely.
You can take a look at. You're going for the one in the middle on this situation.
You've got the 2 green, you've got obviously the 8 green, and you've got the 3 green off to your left as well.
And she literally asked, she goes, which one am I aiming for?
Yellow ball, I can follow that one.
So we've gotten into our PGA voices here. We're just off of the tee. Not quite down in Savannah, but close enough. And that looks like a fairly well-struck
really
ball,
well-struck ball. Off to the right a little bit.
Yep. I think that went off the toe of the driver. It didn't quite get the elevation she wanted, but in all honesty, we can see where it's at. I don't think she needs to worry about punching out. I think she can hit a decent approach shot from that lie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she got past that first big tree down there, so she's going to have one tree to get over or under, whichever way.
So here's Emily Klopfenstein. Now, again, open stance, and you can see it from here. She tends to play a slice.
Very well struck ball. Down the left side, left side of the fairway.
Got it from here.
So she'll be just inside the 150 marker down there. So
I think you take that.
All day. She can come tee for me next time.
So we'll see if Kaylee Harsha can complete all 4 off the tee with good drives. She's going to take a look at it as well.
Wind is maybe a little deceptive here with the trees, but from their right to left.
Came underneath it a little bit, but I think she still got enough of it. This
off to the right. And she's going to be off with
Selby.
Selby, yeah, sorry.
Not quite as far. It sounds like that one maybe was just a little fat off the club head. But in all honesty, though, I don't think anybody's going to complain about any one of their drives.
No, absolutely. I would take any of those any day of the week. Sign them up.
Absolutely. I'm telling you what, I'm watching who's marching here, and Ava Hesselschwart is all business. No conversations. She's staying focused, and she's sending a clip to get to her ball first, and she had the best drive, so not too bad off at 8. As look, let's be honest, if you're going to pick up a stroke or two here, you don't have many more opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, you're going to take everything you can get out of these holes. And again, you come out of that, like you said, it's kind of like dessert. You come out of 5, 6, and 7, and you open up, and you can, the wind is kind of shift directions a little bit again, as it was kind of at the back coming into 7, and now kind of shifting around and behind them on their way down the fairway of hole number 8. So looks like we've got group number 2 coming into the green on 7 as well. We made it back over here just in time.
This is really a great setup. We're kind of in the center of the action. I know that we're off the beaten path for the first two holes, but after that, really a nice layout here. I'm waving at Coach Moyler. I'm not sure if she's going to come over and join us or not. If she does, I will give you the honors here. She's going to.
You go right ahead. I don't. You had a chance to talk with her earlier, so let you kind of touch base with her and
see what she's thinking. She looks all business right now, so she does. She's in beast mode right now. You talk about a tremendous athlete.
How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Hi.
Coach Blazer Moyler joining us right now. You're forced to smile, or is that legitimate
No,
here? Your
it's-
thoughts through basically through 8 for your first foursome here.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I mean, we're only 4 strokes behind. So
Okay.
for us, I mean, that's really good. Keep it up with Defiance. Coach Pat does a great job with these girls. So, you know, to be hanging with a team like this, I can't say any more about our girls.
We were talking about it. We actually had a little bit more range on our wireless mics here, so we snuck over. We used our PGA voices off that 8th tee box. But everybody seemingly hit a pretty good drive. Your thoughts, though, through this, because as we talked about it earlier this morning, this is a front 9 that you've got to manage. There's only maybe a couple of grip it and rip it holes. Your thoughts, maybe has somebody surprised you so far today?
Yeah, our number 2, Emily Klopfenstein, I mean, she's keeping up with Ava, their number 1 from Defiance, pretty well right now. I think overall as a team, you know, we're looking pretty good off the tee. Course management, I've seen a couple times where our youth has probably showed a little bit today. So, but other than that, I mean, I'm very impressed with how this young team's playing.
We've watched, we've got a couple static cameras around, but we've been able to, obviously with wireless cameras, move guys from green to green. We weren't sure. A couple weeks ago with the sun coming out, the greens played slow early, and then they played like Teflon about 2 hours later.
Right.
It seems like with some of the elevation changes, with the wind, it's given everybody a little bit of a challenge today. What are the players telling you?
Yeah, at Wapak we have a little harder course, especially for the women's, where the women's tee off and things like that. I would say this is actually a harder course than we're used to, but really we just work on the mental game with our girls, and you can't let it affect you, you know, so we really try not to look at that too much and just kind of what can we do if we hit a bad shot. Well, what can we do on the next one?
We were talking about it here. It's not like basketball or football where you can sub out. You've got to clear your head, and you've got to get ready for the next shot. I asked you that question, too. I said, who's the best as far as game management for you?
Yeah.
Has somebody surprised you with that today?
I would say probably our number 4, Hannah Lee. She's really young, hasn't played before, and she's just really understanding now, well, hey, if I'm stuck behind trees, I can hit it into the fairway and not worry about getting it to the green. It's going to set me up for a better shot the next time. So, yeah, she's really impressed me today with that.
What do you have for scores? Anything that you want to share through 8 at least?
Let's see.
So
7. We're 4 back after, looks like 6, I think. You have Ava. She's +9 right now for Defiance. For us, Hannah Lee, my 4-man, she is also +9. She's hanging right with her.
Really?
Emily fell back a little bit, but yeah, she's +12. So
how about
yeah. Maya's had a tough day mentally for us today. She's actually +18, so she's down there a little bit.
Okay.
But you're going to have those days, so we have other girls picking her up. It's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Coach, we appreciate you swinging by and joining us. We'll
Awesome.
chat with you once the cards come in at the
Awesome.
pro shop.
Great. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Now, see, that's the way it's done. She just styled on her way up. She'll style on her way back, and we'll chat with her when things wrap up. You talk about a tremendous athlete in her own right, too, Josh. She played Division II softball at Saginaw State University, and she was all conference. And I can see right now, I'm going to guess probably a third baseman just by the.
I could see that. I could see that.
She was nails. She came back, and in all honesty, she wasn't sure that she was going to coach anything but softball, but they approached her and said, would you like to coach golf? And the roots run deep. She's a proud Wapakoneta grad, and she said absolutely. So good to chat with her.
I appreciate her taking some time, too, as the group is making their way around. I mean, obviously, like you said, the OHSA rules, she can chat with her golfers and things like that. So as we see the shot there, just lip in and out. I believe that was Ashton.
Nope.
Or no, excuse me.
Lily. Yep.
Lily Whiteford. And that's one of those tough ones. You just take that extra breath, take that extra second.
Oh, my goodness. Yep.
It's all about the touch.
Well, and again, can't let it carry over, right? That one you can maybe seethe about for about 20 seconds, but when you tee up at the next box, you've got to be ready to play. Oh, 7 just as unkind no matter where you're at, apparently, right?
Oh, absolutely. So it looks like we might be able to get Ryan. Looks like Ryan might have
Ryan's back
the
on his
first
perch.
group over on the 8 green. So group number 1 there is...
Oh, we got Kirch Murph coming over to join us now. When it rains, it pours, buddy. I'll let you have him if you want him, so no problem.
This is your show.
Now, we know you're lying. Nobody believes you.
You are the golfer extraordinaire.
If you're going to lie, make it believable.
As we see the first group here on the 8 green, it looks like Ava's
going to chip.
Chip from the backside, second cut. Coach Murphy cruising along.
Absolutely.
He's got snacks in there and everything.
Oh, she came under that, and
she's not happy with herself on that
to
one.
To say the least, and it's just as well Coach Murphy didn't see that. So, oh my goodness. It's just been an interesting afternoon here as
we're watching Ava here on the 8 green.
And that was her second approach shot. The first one went about 6 inches.
Yeah, Ava has struggled today like we haven't seen her, maybe even last year as a freshman. So I'm glad we invited you out here to watch her rough go today. But, hey, it's an opportunity to learn. I mean, like we said, we haven't seen this before. And I was telling you before the broadcast that consistency had become her sort of benchmark. I don't think she's had this many bogeys all year long, like maybe total.
Well, from what we've seen, too, she's looked good off the tee. I mean, we were over here on 8, and her swing is just the sweetest. I could watch that swing all day long. But it sounds like not just her, everybody, and not just Defiance, but Wapak as well. Coach Moyler was over here saying short games, and in particular the greens today, have just given the golfers trouble. Is that your assessment as well?
I would agree. This probably is one of our more challenging rounds this year. Top to bottom, and I don't know if it's, you know, we've had 3 days off because we're not able to practice Friday. Our assigned practice times, rain rolled through, and then we typically don't do a lot on the weekends. We ask the kids to try to get out and play on their own, but some of these kids may not have touched a golf club in 3 days, and that does impact, particularly when you're, no way around it. This is still developmental golf. Most of these kids don't have as good a muscle memory with the swings and everything as we would like to. And
now, we'll say this. The difference there, we saw Kaylee Harsha leave what we believe was a par putt a little bit short there. Emily Klopfenstein didn't. We were always coached, never leave a par putt short. Is that your strategy as well?
Yes, we would like to see that go, depending upon the length of the putt, anywhere from, a foot to 18 inches past. Not a lot more, but sometimes it's harder to control that with the longer putts. But, it doesn't have a chance to go in if it doesn't make it to the hole, right? So, and this would be one of those things that, stuff that we've talked about and tried to coach. When you don't see it implemented on a course, you try to, wonder why. And this is one of the first days, too, with Ava that we've...
That one just lipped out. Just lipped out.
She has been on the edge. She was on the edge on a couple of these holes back around here where she had the right speed and pretty close, just didn't get it to drop. But, I'm struggling to watch or monitor. My apologies.
That's okay. That's why we have them here for you, Coach.
Must be
here.
The bifocals. Can't find the right line. Ava was saying she just didn't really feel sort of right at the beginning when we were over on the practice screens. This game is so...
It can beat you up.
Yeah, and, if it's a day where you're not just feeling well and whatever. So, we'll have to see. It's a very competitive match so far.
This is Maya Selby putting out for Wapakoneta, and I believe is Klopfenstein left to go. Actually, oh my goodness, Ava still is left to go here. All right, my apologies. When was the last time you saw her 3-putt on a green? And don't
6.
say 7.
She, Yeah, and you can tell by her walk. And, this is why she is such a good golfer, though. She is very competitive, and this will not be a permanent condition. I can tell you that. In fact, I was relaying to the Wapakoneta coach one of my favorite rounds that I watched her play this summer. We have an app that the kids will use, and we can watch them while they play, sort of scoring-wise. But she shot a 36 on the back here. And the back is usually considered to be a little more challenging than the front, but it was 9 pars. No birdies, no bogeys, 9 pars. And that's more Ava's game, just that consistency. So
this is the second foursome. They're back a hole. We just saw Lily Whiteford send one up the right side of the fairway, and it looks like Kenley Manriquez is next up. How about the second four here? I know it's obviously easy to focus as we're seeing Kenley take a couple practice swings.
Kenley didn't start as well today as she played last week. She had a really good round at Pike Run down in Ottawa, 45. And she started a little rougher today, but she's played well the last couple holes. Had a really nice 3-on-6.
Well, that's almost off the cart path.
Yeah.
And that is, I believe, was Hannah Lee, the young sophomore there for Wapakoneta. So all bets are off, or I guess you could say all bets are on here, because this sounds like a pretty tight meet coming into the final 2 holes here, Coach.
Yeah, it's always, if we don't have all 6 kids keeping as accurate score on our app that we use, the OHSA golf app, it's hard. But the last time I checked, we were up by 5.
Okay.
And I think that was through 6 holes. But yeah, really tight, really good golf match.
All right, we're going to check in with you when the cards come in here in another couple holes. Thanks for stopping by and joining us, though. Thanks, Coach. You bet ya.
Coach Murphy, is we always appreciate. He even got snacks in his cart there, I'll tell you.
Are those healthy snacks or salty snacks?
I see fruit snacks in there, so.
I don't know that. This is Grace Lamar you're taking a look at. That first foursome getting ready to tee off at 9.
Yep.
Here's Lily Whiteford. Lily has been, that looks like a pretty good approach. Is the green going to hold? Lily could speak much like many of her teammates could. Almost today is probably the word that you would use.
Well, it sounds like, after talking with both coaches, it seems like just about all these players today have had a pretty rough go of it on the greens and even around the greens a little bit today. So,
boy, Kenley Manrique took a rip there and
just dribbled it off to the left hand
I was going to say, Well, up by 5 with that first foursome teeing off at 8. Josh, as we talked about it, if you're going to make up any ground, you're running out of time here.
Yeah, I mean that you're coming into your final hole here. If you're that final four or that first foursome, like Coach was talking about, a rough go of it for all of these teams, for all the golfers today. They've just had a rough go of it, and you gotta figure out on this last hole how to get it together.
Yep. And it's not just any one golfers; it's all of them. I think we're going to set up a camera at 9 here quickly because that first group is already teed off at 9.
And we see looks like Ryan's able to get us a little bit of shot here. And that might have been Ava on that tee shot there. Coming up 9. 9 is the 329-yard par 4 that will give a little to the right. It's got trees along both sides as you...
Or if you're like Mr. DeLarber at Tenora, it's got the golf course over here.
The tennis courts?
Pardon me, the tennis courts, excuse me. And he hit right underneath basically the John Deere tractor that collects the balls off the range.
The range collector.
He almost hit the greatest recovery shot of the day, though.
I can still see that. But yeah, you don't want to necessarily play that far right. coming up. But
Is it me? Does it bottleneck, though, maybe about halfway up?
and
Because-
it does.
Yeah.
You kind of get up there, and it makes that turn to the right, and then you've got trees that line both sides. You got a parking lot over there. Try not
Yep.
to think about that too much. And then, of course,
driving range / tennis courts.
and then you've got traps again that just surround the green, especially in the front part of it. You're going to see that approach coming up that front. It's gonna give you a nice tight runway right up to the green. Looks like it's a blue flag, so it's going to play the back side of the green here today on
Okay.
to finish up on 9. Wind right now.
Coming
Left
into
to
you a
right,
little bit,
yeah,
yep.
left to right. As the flag, the flag stick, we can see it from our vantage point here. Looks like it's standing up on end. So it is, it's going to be a tough finish for these ladies today.
We'll check out that first foursome as they get a little bit closer to their approach. Right now we're looking at the second foursome, and I believe this is Lily Whiteford.
A little underneath that one. Left it just a little short.
Still playable, as we're 2.5 hours into this one now.
We see Kinley Maynard. Or excuse me, she graduated already.
Yes.
My bad. Kinley Manriquez. It's bound to happen. So Kinley taking a shot here. A little punch up there. And just a little too much. Ran that all the way to the back of the green. So now it looks like Lily Whiteford will try to join them on the green. And left hers a little bit short. So I think if you combine the two, they'd be right at the hole. Sun making its way back out through the clouds here.
Just in time to wrap it up. All right, on the green here.
Did she sink it?
It's Grace Lamar, and
It goes
she?
in.
She did. Wow.
Yeah.
Nicely done, young lady. Nicely done. Give yourself a smile. You earned that one.
I don't think she was sure that it counted for a minute because the pin was holding it, but a little too much mustard on that one.
Quite a bit. Spicy mustard. So I believe Lily Whiteford now will do the honors as she has Kinley Manriquez pull the pin for her. That first foursome approaching the 9-hole green. Lily!
Just
What
off.
were we saying? Almost. It's been the story of the day.
Almost all day.
Yep. We will see her on the sidelines Friday night with the cheerleading squad.
Absolutely.
As Napoleon will be hosting Defiance to open up the football season.
The old River
Rock
rivalry.
Mhm. Defiance wants to keep that on campus. Manriquez. Has it got enough on it? Just didn't
Too
quite
much.
play the break. It didn't break as much as it looked like she thought it was going to. And again, speaking of playing the break, Hannah Lee, thinking that one was going to give her a little bit more of left or right, and they're going to let her finish out. What are we looking at here? Probably about 4 feet, maybe,
Give or take.
for Manriquez.
And just pushed it right on by.
I like what she's doing here, though. Set up, putt like
Take
you
your
normally
time.
would.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think we could probably switch over to the first group as Will is made his way over to the 9. Hole number 9, and this looks
Okay.
like
Is this Ava?
Ava Hazelswart will be making her approach shot from that left-hand side. Lining up her shot, taking her time. Nice and
looking
easy swing.
I'm looking for it.
And I lost it as it got up there.
I think it might be a little short from our angle.
I think she left that one just a little short.
Yep. Still on the fairway. We're within eye range here, if you want to call that, if indeed I can make up a new word. So we're electing to kind of do a little of both. One eye on the monitor and the cameras, and then also one eye from the gallery here.
I think she went up a little too far, and Keely Harsha wheels right up in her grill there.
Now from this angle, I'm trying to take a peek here.
She just punched it out across the trees. She's going to be right at the pin.
She's going after it.
And it, I think, went off the back side of the green just a little too hot.
Wow.
But nice shot from Kaylee Harsha. That's a tough,
she
that's
didn't
a
play
tough
that
angle.
safe. Yep.
That's a tough angle to come in from over there.
So here is Selby, and she's not wasting any time. A little bit better of an angle, and into the wind. That wind now seems like it's coming a little bit more across instead of across. It's coming at the golfers now.
You can see the flag. It's changed. It was almost blowing straight at us, Brent.
Yep.
Now it's kind of going back towards the golfers a little bit.
So Klopfenstein didn't need to put a ton on it. Still needs to clear the trap.
Up there, and it's right up on the green.
Is it going to give her a roll?
It's going to be a nice shot.
Well placed.
Very well done by Klopfenstein.
You want to break out your British golfers terminology? Superb. Superb.
Can we have a golf clap?
They wouldn't hear us. Selby did leave it a little bit short, and is Klopfenschmidt, or Schwartz, excuse me, Sandy. She was in the trap. Selby's fortunate. She probably another 2 feet, and she'd be grabbing a rake as well.
And she's right there on the edge of the trap, so she's going to have to. She'll have the corner. I mean, she's got to get a clean shot here.
How much elevation do you need, though, here? You maybe grab something a little unorthodox and maybe like an 8-iron. Because really what you're doing here is what she did, chip and run, and a little too much run.
Yeah, a little too much run on that one. So,
did she hit it?
I mean, I like what she was thinking there. That green, as you can see from our vantage point here, Brent, it kind of slopes up at the back. Yep. So she's going to have a little bit of, maybe a little bit of slowing down, but she just put a little too much on that one.
Nessel Short trying to dig her way out of the trap, and does. I'm not sure if it's truly on the green, but
just really checked up.
It's close enough. I would think she'd be able to use her putter there.
Yeah.
Harsha
just slapped that one a little too hard,
and she'll be chipping from the other side of the green.
You can see sometimes you get those hands, and you want to chop at it, if you will, and that's what happens. I mean, you almost get. You almost get that motion where you just slap it out of there, and it's just a little too much. Nice and smooth and stay through the ball. That's exactly what Selby's trying here.
Good to see some sponge in his. Uh-oh, is that a double contact?
I believe it would be.
That looked like she hit that ball twice.
And she's just kind of laughing about it.
At this point, what can you do, right? The end of a frustrating afternoon.
Yeah, she's going, oh, another green. It's like Ava trying to line up her long shot. Off to the left.
Boy, Selby's on her knees. Look at her line that up. Ava to putt here, and I'm not sure who's got honors. If Will needs to swing over. Because obviously Selby's not putting.
No.
There you go. Pan over. And there is the lady of the moment.
He caught it. He caught it.
So Ava Heschel-Schwartz. Last we checked, teeing
for the
off
pin
at
to come
8,
off.
she was 9 over. Is that what we were told? Uncharacteristic. When was the last time that happened?
Long putt here.
Has that got enough on it?
It's like a solid up, but obviously not the kind of day that young lady is accustomed to.
I think everybody with the golf club today can probably say the same thing. The course today has just been unforgiving.
I was thinking about hitting 9 later, but I think I'll just leave that as a thought.
Like 9 strokes as Selby sends this one long. This is where I think fatigue also sets in, Josh. And not just physical, but mental.
Yeah. I mean, you've come through the whole day here today. You've had rough greens. It's just been a challenging day. Top to bottom, every golfer out here today, you heard it from both coaches, has said this has been a very hard course to play today. And, you think about it. We had a lot of rain that came through the area the last, 3 days, 2.5, 3 days. Cool weather, sun in and out. I mean, it's a little bit of a breeze here today. It's just been a tricky day of golf.
Harsha finishes out. Now Klopfenstein does the same thing. Who has the honors here? It looks like it will be Selby. There you go. Nice job to zoom in. And that ball broke at the last minute. And she's picking up. And she didn't just pick up, she swiped up. Yeah, you can see the frustration setting in. And Heschel Swart will try to make this her last stroke of the round. Long look. Boy, around the world, but it counts. Exactly. Oh, my goodness. And now they'll wait for Selby. Or did I miss it as I looked over? They're putting the pin back in. I was checking to see where that second foursome is.
Looks like the second foursome should
Are
be
they
coming up on 9.
Okay.
Oh, they're coming up on 9.
They're coming up on 9. I was
They're
looking over.
right behind.
I kept looking over thinking they've got to be on 8 quickly here.
I think they teed off on 8 when Coach Murphy was over here.
Okay. Well, we're not going to deny Coach Murphy his airtime.
Oh, not at all.
Of course not. We understand royalty when we see it. So there is that second foursome. And now we've got, I'm trying to think, is the back twosome here coming up 7 then? They were about a hole and a half behind. So Ben should probably get a good look at them coming up 7 here. Right now getting ready to tee off. This is Grace Lamar. Actually, this looks like it might be, is this her second shot? She's got an iron. Chunked it. Grace Lamar being allowed to use a cart as a condition. We'll leave it at that. As here is Lily Whiteford. Looks like she pushed it off to the right off the tee. We're getting a good look actually from where we're at, and boy, she took a swing. Looks like it's pushed a bit to the right. Did that stay out of the trap? Trying to tell where the ball is.
Tough to see from that angle.
Yep. So we'll take a peek here as this is Lamar. Everybody kind of hitting out of the same spot on this 9th fairway. She's going to have to wrap it around. Otherwise, she's going to get sandy. She may even come down the hill a little bit closer to the driving range. And did that make it? I don't believe it did. I'm seeing the marks of a ball that kind of rolled up the trap there. And very quickly, Hannah Lee with the best lie of the foursome right now in the fairway. That is a low line approach. It sails right past Lily Whiteford. She was bending over to size up her ball. Careful,
Whoops.
Lily. Looks like it's going to be just shy of the green. Tell you what, I appreciate the way she plays because it may be a little unorthodox, but it's effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That is what you need.
You're chipping and running from probably, 100, maybe a little over there. But you know what? If that's...
Go right at it.
Absolutely. If you trust that other than maybe saying grabbing a pitching wedge and hoping that it'll stick, more power to you. Ashley Schwartz right now with a 48, so she will be the medalist. Kaylee Harsha with a 53. And then everybody else still on the course right now, at least for Defiance. What have you got for Wapakoneta there?
Emily Kloppenstein finished at 54.
So she would finish in third place as we sit right now. And then what? Looks like Maya Selby the next best.
Yeah, they haven't updated her last hole, but she
clearly
20
finished
over
with that first foursome. So
20 over through 8. Let's put her at 65, or excuse me, 55.
Okay.
Through 8. So.
Well, I'm not sure anybody's going to shave a stroke or two off of the ninth hole here, as it's just been, to use a golf term, par for the course.
Yeah.
Rough play.
It's been a rough day for sure. As I have it here, it looks like Defiance up 10. Well, this is through 6. Obviously, the third set of players is still coming up through 7.
Yep. So they're about a hole behind, actually a couple. As this is Lamar chipping just off. Chip and run. That may be interesting. Tell you what, she didn't leave it short, though. She did
absolutely.
What coaches were talking about.
Take a run at it, and especially at that point, the pin's still in. You take a run at it. If you get up there, you clip the pin, and maybe it drops down. Stranger things have happened.
Speaking of stranger things, although I haven't watched that show in a while, I'm going to guess Lily Whiteford would want the pin pulled here. Nope, they're going to leave it in. Maybe seeing it a little bit better, trying to play that left to right break, just a bit short.
Yeah. She played the break pretty well.
Yes.
Just didn't give it enough gas to get there.
And who is lying out right now? I saw Manriquez. If Will can maybe pan back a little bit or pan over to the right, somebody's getting ready to putt. They will pull it. That was pretty much a gimme for Hannah Lee. So here's Manriquez. Well, who's out right now? Who is putting? It looks like Grace Miller. She's lining up, or she? Yep, Grace Miller.
And she
sends this one wide, and I mean wide.
No, they are.
Was there confusion as to who was supposed to be putting there?
I think there may have been.
I don't know who's going to go first.
So here's Manriquez.
Just
a little bit short. And they're going to let her go ahead and putt out. She'll bend over and pick it up. And no smiles. I would say the smile for Kenley Manriquez is worth at least a couple strokes. She's not smiling today.
No. And as you heard from Coach Murphy, had a great hole 6.
Yep. Wow. Miller. Ooh, that was casual. But fortunately for her, it fell. Oh, my. Wow. So the second foursome now finished. But I don't think we're going to see significant changes on the scorecard, do you?
I believe the leaderboard is probably going to say...
It's pretty set.
Yeah. Well, so right now we've got the individual leaderboard shows Ava Hazelswart finished at a 48.
I will say this, too, before you go any farther, Josh. That's the first time today she has shot, or not today, first time this season she has shot worse than a 39. That gives you a little bit of an idea of the struggles for everybody.
Tough day today, for sure. So she took, she opened up bogey, 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 doubled on 4, bogey. She doubled the par 3-6.
Tripled, what was that, the 8th?
The 8, yep. And then remember that was where we saw the
putt, the 3 putt,
the
first
tough
chip
putts down there,
6 inches,
and finished off with a bogey. So just a tough day for that. And you heard Coach Murphy say, this is not the kind of day that they've seen her have.
You flush it, and you call it an anomaly, right? A one-off. We've got the last group coming up on the 8th tee box here. Again, this would be Ashton Scholl and Ruth Green. And Lauren Miller and Macy Newmeyer.
So we should have, Cody's got a good shot back here.
This looks like, is this Ashton?
Yes, this would be Ashton
Scholl. Crossing through the trees off of our setup, and it's almost like we've walked into the Masters.
We sit here high above the 8 tee box.
You want to give us a welcome, friends? Deep breath. She doesn't take a particularly long backswing.
Taking her time, though, lining up her shot.
Yep.
Again, coming out of 5, 6, and 7, you see this open space out here. Nice
And
long tee shot off to the right. It looks
right
like
a little bit, but you know what? That's not too bad. It's going to be
It's like
not
up towards
quite,
the 150.
Yeah, not quite.
Off to the right-hand side. Now, she will have a tree to deal with on that right side, but
I think it's open enough to recover, though.
absolutely. As they say, trees are 90% air.
And I always find the 10%.
Me too. Should get a discount.
This, I believe, is the freshman Macy Newmeyer. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the club. She will tee off with a 3-wood instead of a driver, and that is solid.
Right down the middle of Broadway.
Again, just a little shy of the 150 mark, but you know what? I can empathize with that because I did not make friends with my driver until well into golfing here. 3-wood's
Sure.
a little lighter, a little bit more loft, and it's not uncommon to see a lot of younger players like to start with a 3-wood off the tee.
On here, you can see Ruth Green. Again, we saw her teeing off with an iron earlier.
She is here too.
And again, sometimes you find you've got that club that you're just comfortable with.
What would you guess here?
Looks
Maybe
like a longer iron.
I was going to say a
5
4
iron.
or a 5.
Off to the right-hand side for Ruth Green. But again, out towards that 150 area, she'll have the tree to deal with on that right side. But nice, not a bad shot there for Ruth Green.
And the last of this foursome going to be senior Lauren Miller. She was a medalist at Shawnee earlier this year. Lining it up as well. Good swing.
Had a great sound off the club.
That push a little bit to the right. Maybe not quite as much as I originally thought.
It's right down Broadway.
Yeah.
Nice shot there. All 4 of them.
All
Nice
right.
shot. Coming up
So
the
well done.
8 fairway.
As the rest of their teammates are in the clubhouse right now, filling out their cards and waiting for the rest of their teammates to join them.
Make their trip down 8 and back up 9.
So you want to take a break? We can do that. Absolutely.
Tristan shakes his head yes.
Tristan
So
shakes his head as Ryan will be able to get off the tree stump at 8 in probably about 2 more shots. What we're going to do is take a quick timeout. We're back with more from Eagle Rock right after this. You're watching Golf on DCTV Sports.
Discover great job skills training at Northwest State. With over 50 different programs available, there is something for everyone. Providing hands-on training and education is the community college advantage.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. The Strady Center for the Arts, entertainment on a whole new level. The Strady Center for the Arts presents a full lineup of culture and entertainment right here in our community. Check out the full lineup and purchase your tickets today at defiancearts.org. Visit Mark Motes Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Motes Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmotesford.com. Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, Stadium Drive in Defiance, and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, Stadium Drive in Defiance, and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com.
On the fairway at 8. This is the last group of the varsity to work their way up through today's dual meet as Defiance and Wapakoneta girls golf. Last of our golf outings that we'll have on DCTV, but trust me, we got plenty of fall sports. Still have, obviously, the football season opener coming up this Friday as Defiance at Napoleon. Brent Balbanon alongside Josh Bush. Josh, we're going to have boys and girls soccer. We're going to have plenty of volleyball. We are just getting started.
It's the tip of the iceberg, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that we're at this time of the year where we're back to school. Defiance goes back to school on Wednesday. Yep. I think Tenora next week. Tenora,
really?
Ayersville, 27. Okay. So you've got Tenora, Ayersville, Fairview, Hicksville, the Defiance County Fairs this week. So a lot of the schools with a large FFA presence and 4-H presence will, spend a lot of time this week at the Defiance County Fair. So,
what's your favorite fair food? Everybody has that question.
That's
something on a stick.
It's a tough one.
Just a good beef burger, pork burger.
I will say this at the
dairy guy
at the Defiance County Fair. It's got to be the donuts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some homemade donuts over there. I'm just saying. Or the Shake Shack.
I was going to say, I've heard about that.
The Shake Shack.
You got to go to the Shake Shack. Up to the billing?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, it's all right.
And by all right, I mean it's pretty good.
I was going to say, give them their props.
Yeah, absolutely. So Defiance will go back this week, and then the other county schools usually a week or so behind, just based off of 4-H and FFA participants at the fair. So
we already had volleyball take center stage last Friday night as Defiance knocked off Napoleon. I joke with both coaches, that matchup needs a traveling trophy. It doesn't have one. It needs one.
It should have one.
I have an idea. I might bounce it off of you. We'll see. That's a match that usually takes place later on in the season, but with the way the schedules fell, they started, and in talking with Coach Brenner in particular, she goes, I wouldn't mind opening with Napoleon. Football does it. Why not volleyball? So we'll see.
Get them all started with Napoleon. Get it out of the way.
It's a healthy rivalry, really healthy rivalry. As we're looking at the last group working their way up the 8th fairway here. And is this Ashton? Is this Ruth? This is Ashton. Lining up her shot. Ball below her a little bit. And
I don't think she was as happy with it.
She grabbed her lower lip. That had a lot of run on it. I don't think she got the elevation she wanted.
And it might be over towards that sand trap a little bit.
I think it might be. Is it me, or are there multiple holes here, at least on the front 9, where you have a narrow gate? There's sand
absolutely.
on both sides.
Yeah. It's tricky. And it's one of those where you come into the green, you've got that, I call it the runway, because you've got that little gate, like you said, coming in, and there's very little room for error. Either way, you get a trap on either side, and you almost...
You're grabbing 2 clubs as you approach the
green.
Well,
and you're thinking about it. Okay, do I want to go this way? Do I want to go? You almost at some points, you go, well, maybe I just want to go a little deeper than I should. But then, how much green do you have to work with?
Yep. And will it stick? As this is the freshman Macy Newmeyer. She has a very short approach. I'm not sure if I can follow the shot here. Did it have enough on it?
A little short.
A little short, but you know what? She stayed out of the sand.
I was never a fan of the beach, so.
Ryan found the ball there. Last of the foursome on the far side, so this would be Ruth Green. And is she in the trap, or is she just kind of along the gravel of the cart path there?
I think she's perhaps. I think she's in the trap. She was taking her practice shots outside the trap.
We'll see if she can dig a hole here. She babied that
thing.
She got it out. Get out.
She got out.
Got out. Half the battle.
Run up and out, and sometimes that's all you want.
This group still has 9 to go, so just finishing up on 8. Actually, not quite finishing up, is nobody's on the green yet. That's Ashton. Oh, that's low, and it had enough on it. That was in the trap, hit the front lip, and then bounced out of it. If she hits that any lighter, I don't know what that lie would be, because it'd probably be about a 90-degree right off the edge of that thing. Oh, my goodness.
So Ashton coming off a rough hole 7, but was able to par 6.
Okay. That's very well done. So here's the senior Miller. She's actually putting. Again, a senior, a little bit more experience. Has medaled earlier this summer. And leaves herself, again, tough to tell from the angle there, as Ryan switching back over to Ashlyn. And a chip and a run here. Has that got enough on it? Well, she's putting at least. And now we'll see if Ruth can join her.
Ruth Green, how about this? Parred the number 7 hole.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Par.
Ruth, we'll have to ask you what you had for breakfast. She's on the green, and now the last of them. And I'm looking at Macy Newmeyer. Now she's leaving. I don't think she had the club that she wanted. She would be out right now, because I think she's on the lip of that far sand trap. Are they going to wait for her? It doesn't look like they are, or are they?
Nope, they're just going to go ahead and go.
At this point, speed golf. Leaving it in, and Miller couldn't quite read the break. Are they going to let her go ahead and tap out? And she does. We got some JV players coming up the 8th tee box right now, and they're not waiting.
No, they're getting at it.
Yep.
I believe this is a pair of Defiance players and one Wapakoneta player.
So here
is Ruth Green here to finish.
Ruth Green to finish out. Around the world, it kicks out.
Just out and in.
How many times have we seen that today?
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to what these greens, what we've seen out of these greens today. It has been not forgiving whatsoever. This, the brakes, the speed. I mean, nothing has gone the way it needed to.
We gave Guy the offer to come over and joining us a little bit here, but we haven't seen him today. So we just basically said, well, we'll talk about you if you don't join us.
Yeah.
So wherever you're at, Guy,
we appreciate
you opening up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've, again, we must have been okay last time because they gave us keys to carts again. They clearly didn't see Will driving around because
Hey-o.
I've been in a vehicle with Will. But
Were the authorities en route?
well, he likes to turn the strobe light on, and
Okay.
we'll just leave it at that.
Calling Dr. Beat. So the last group has
Finishing
finished
up on
out
8.
on 8.
And they'll make their way over to 9 for their one last.
Hurrah.
See if we can get some scores on that.
That wind is really picking up. You can probably hear it over our microphones.
It has gotten to be really, really breezy. Sun is kind of playing tricks with us a little bit here today too, and a little bit sunny, a little bit cloudy.
Well, the wind was light to open up this morning. Again, probably about 5 to 10 miles an hour, but it has really picked up. The forecast called for gusts as high as 25 miles an hour. I'm not quite sure we're there right now, but Josh, if you're teeing off at 9, to use a British term, it's a zephyr.
A zephyr, yes. And they're going to have a struggle coming right down. I mean, right now that wind is right down the gullet of 9, back at their face. And you're kind of, again, you got hole number 9, which is 329 yards, par 4. And kind of almost uphill towards the clubhouse.
And what we've seen through the first 2 groups, everybody has been off to the right, teeing off at 9. So, again, part of that, too, is I'm guessing the wind has probably had a little bit of an effect on that.
Yeah, and you can't really, I mean, you're kind of down. Like I said, you're going uphill from the tee box, so you're kind of down and maybe not even realizing that you're going to hit that wind when you get the ball up in the air. Again, you just don't know until you get, you hit that ball, and they haven't had the luxury of seeing anybody in front of them hit.
No.
So they fell behind about a hole and a half, 2 holes. So haven't had the opportunity to see anybody in front of them.
This would be where you'd see an experienced golfer maybe grab a tuft of grass and just kind of toss it up in the air to try and get a feel for it. With this young group, again, you've got a freshman, 2 sophomores, and only 1 senior here. Their thought process is just, okay, I want to hit this one clean and straight. We'll wait and see as we're getting a good look at the 9th tee box. We're seeing a bit of an angle here. And we've got Ben on the 9th green. So first drive.
We might be able to take a peek out
Yeah.
back behind the
Use
trees
our own
here as
eyes
well.
is what we're going to do here.
And just make sure nothing comes our way.
It did 2 weeks ago, although I'm going to go out on a limb and guess we're pretty safe.
This looks like Ruth, perhaps.
Couple practice swings as she approaches her ball.
Is the coming off the backside of the driving range here as well. A nice ball. It's going to be cut in the right corner down here towards the.
I'm going to pay attention more to this the next time I pull in or even as I'm pulling out here. Again, it's so open, and then this fairway really seems to close off in a hurry. Probably what, about halfway through it?
Yeah, halfway to 2/3. You get the trees that just, it looks really wide open, and then you get up that last little bit, and you see.
You got the parking lot and the buildings on the left. It just really bottlenecks. I believe this is the freshman Newmeyer.
I believe you are correct.
Yep. And here comes the most experienced member of this group, the senior Lauren Miller.
I believe you said she was a medalist?
Correct, at Shawnee earlier this summer.
Good for her.
I'm looking at her swing. I mean, you can just see the senior compared to the underclassmen here.
Yeah.
And again, I asked Coach Moyler, I said, senior, a medalist, and yet she's golfing in that last group. And she goes, I wanted to challenge some of my underclassmen. She goes, we know what we're going to get out of Lauren Miller. You're going to get some consistency, some leadership out of that last group. But she said, I wanted to challenge some of the underclassmen, see if they could handle the pressure of golfing against the opposition's best.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's only going to make your team as a whole better, not just this year, but moving into next year and the year after.
We are past the noon hour. Actually, we're past the 1 o'clock hour. It is just past 1 o'clock here. Just over the 3-hour mark here. The last group working their way up the 9th fairway.
I believe this is the JVs that we're seeing here coming up on 8. As the last varsity group, is making their way up 9 to their second shots. Little JV action here.
Yep. Future of the program. Ryan has been perched upon. He's been perched atop his throne, otherwise known as the tree stump, on the 8th green.
Emily Anderson, a sophomore for Defiance. Ariana Helland, a freshman for Defiance. And Lauren Palmer, a sophomore for Wapakoneta.
So a trio of underclassmen, just a threesome. As the second shot on 9 has been taken by, I believe, Ashton Scholl.
As we flip back over there.
And then you see the remainder of that foursome working their way up. Scholl has already taken a shot. And everybody roughly in about the same location. Looks like a couple on the fairway and one in the first cut on the right, and I believe that would be the freshman Newmeyer. Well, Defiance is going to win this dual meet. The only question is individual finishes. We already know the medalist is Ava Heschelschwart for Defiance. Did you say it was Kaylee Harsha second?
Let's go to the individuals.
Kenley Manriquez. I know the KKs were both up there. Manriquez will finish second. Kaylee Harsha with a 53. And then Hannah Lee, the leading or top scorer for Wapakoneta, also with a 53. Nobody with a sub 40 score today. That tells you just how rough it has been.
Well, and even a high 40
would have been. Yep, a low 40s would have been a good afternoon. 42 or 43, I think anybody would have wrapped both arms around it.
Tough course today. No doubt about it.
Taking a look at second shots from our last group coming up the 9th fairway. Is it me or is it is it the way that this fairway plays, or do you think maybe with the parking lot, the buildings, and the cars on the left, golfers are more inclined to try and stay right coming down this fairway?
I mean, I think it's a kind of a combination. I mean, the when you come up, the green or the fairway kind of slopes out to, it kind of goes from left to right, kind of high to low, left to right. So you're going to naturally have the ball kind of come down there. Also, it does dog a little bit to the right. So, do you want to try and go more straight at it? Or are you going to try and play the fairway all the way up? I mean, it just, kind of what you're trying to get out of your shot.
Boy, Lauren Miller just crushed her second shot. Now, that might be in a rough or basically an area without grass on it, so we'll wait and see, but she just crushed that. And here's Newmeyer.
When you talked about that senior leadership, I mean, you're seeing her come in here. She's going to close out with a strong round in this last group.
Not a lot of loft on that shot, but it will run. There we go. Nice job to follow the ball. Well, can you get on after 3 here is going to be the question.
And this is a longer hole here, 329 yards, par 4.
Boy, I'm playing over from behind those trees, almost onto the driving range here. As a matter of fact, she is on the driving range. Was that Ashton? This is coming up right over here. Boy, she's got a tough angle here, Josh. Yeah, she's going to have to punch it between about half a dozen trees. There is a little bit of an alley here if she hits it straight. It's low. It hit the third tree. It was on line. It got through what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 4 trees. It hit the 5th.
Yep. And that was going to be a really, really good angle to come in at there. She looked like she was going to play left of that trap. Just not able to.
Well, a tip of the cap to the 2 gentlemen on the driving range. Of course, what are you going to say no to the young lady? She asked them if she could hit, so they stopped and watched. I will say this. We've seen this now twice. It's easy to basically, I don't want to say slice right, just be right, for lack of a better term, on this hole. We saw DeLarber 2 weeks ago for Tenora. Sure. Now we're seeing Ashton Shull here. It is this fairway a little more intimidating than maybe it seems as you're driving in?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, I think you almost underestimate what you're gonna get out of this, okay? Because it looks like it's, and like you said, it kind of tightens up on you pretty quick between the trees, the parking lot, the clubhouse. As you see, Ashton Shull's gonna try and recover off the tree.
Oof.
And
that
will
one
she
was
stay
inside
out?
outed. Yep. And that is a worm burner.
She stayed out of the traps at least, but she's gonna have a tough shot kind of from the back side of the green to get up, and she's gonna have to get up and down in a hurry.
Let's see, she's sitting 4 right now then, correct? So nothing you can do except just try and slow your swing down, this is going to be a tough shot. And
she went a little bit too line drive.
You know what, that berm though stopped it, so I guess there's the benefit.
She's got the other side there, but now she's going to be
punching downhill.
Down.
So not everybody on the green just yet. Miller going to chip and run here.
Nice approach shot for her.
And then we'll see if we can't go to our monitor and get a better look at who will be closing out the cup.
It's kind of nice when you can just wander around a little bit. You can catch some different angles. And there we go.
So here's Meyer. Long putt. Left it a bit short. Is Newmeyer going to mark her ball? She's not. So is this Ruth Green here?
This will be Ruth Green.
Puts Puts a little something into it. Boy,
A lot of something into
a
it.
lot of something into it.
Miller said, "Oh wait,
Miller's
I'm
doing
in the
an
way."
Irish jig. So, trying to chip down from that top berm. Ashton Shull. Actually, was there a little bit of sand there? Is there a trap that far back on the left side? And
She must have got into it.
This will be her third stroke out of this hole, and
She's out.
yep, she'll rake up.
So not exactly how she wants to finish up 9, but I think as everybody else could tell her, it's been a tough day for everyone.
I was going to say, she'll have plenty of company when she heads to the clubhouse. Here's the key, though, too, Josh. You take something from this. You learn how the course played today, right? So put that in your mental Rolodex, and the next time you find yourself teeing off or on the green, remember what I did last time. Remember how this course played last time.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of one of those lessons too. You could play a course. You could play this course tomorrow, and it won't play the same as it
Exactly.
played today. And these younger golfers are going to learn.
Just missed
Hey, just because I played it this way today doesn't mean I can play it that way tomorrow. Or I played it this way yesterday or last week. You know, you had to play this course a little bit differently today, and again, that's part of that learning process, especially for these younger golfers.
In the meantime, Miller, tell you what, she's just styling. She's got the black leggings. She's got the shades. There's just a strut about her. She hits a red ball. I mean, she announces her presence. And they'll let her putt out.
Just a little too much mustard on that
A
one.
little too much. And now she wants to think about it. And this is probably the smart thing to do.
Take a breath and
If she hits that last putt, she picks it up, she struts off the green, and she feels good about herself. Now, you're probably a little surly. Let that pot simmer a bit on you. So we've got 2 cameras on this green. Taking a look at the elevated
actually see
cam
us
here.
in the background there.
Yes. Wave to all of our fans. This has been a trying hole for Ashton Shull.
And she's been a little here, a little there, and a little everywhere. And
Let's see if
just a
she
little-
can find Baby Bear's
juice that
porridge.
one up.
Not quite. Oops, no, she picked that up? Ruth picked that up.
Yeah, I think there's a max out.
Okay. All right.
Potentially.
I'm going to go with it. I have not seen that, so.
I haven't either, but she picked it up, so we're just going to go with it.
Clearly she had permission. And just looked like off the left side of the,
Just
the
missed
lip.
that one.
Get a good look here. And puts
Let's
it
finish
down. Okay. So this should be, looks like Miller to finish out the last of the varsity here. Not to be confused, you're looking at the golfer rather than the trees or us here. Newmeyer is actually going. I like this. Drop to a knee, get a good read. Going to leave the pin in from where we're standing. Can't quite gauge the distance. What do you think, 8 to 10?
I would say. She left it a little short.
Now about half of that.
Let's see her finish here. Just by the hole on that right side. So,
And a gimme putt to tap in.
as we've seen with so many today, these holes, these greens have just not been forgiving at all.
None. So the last of the varsity groups have finished up 9. We'll take a quick time out. We should have the final scorecards here shortly. We've already known who the medalist is and how they've finished individually. I'm not sure that we're going to have any changes with this last group, but we'll bring it to you officially when we come back. You are watching live coverage of Defiance and Wapakoneta varsity girls golf from Eagle Rock on DCTV Sports.
Discover great job skills training at Northwest State. With over 50 different programs available, there is something for everyone. Providing hands-on training and education is the community college advantage.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. The Strady Center for the Arts. Entertainment on a whole new level. The Strady Center for the Arts presents a full lineup of culture and entertainment right here in our community. Check out the full lineup and purchase your tickets today at defiancearts.org. Visit Mark Motes Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Motes Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmotesford.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, Stadium Drive in Defiance, and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, Stadium Drive in Defiance, and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com.
I'm back at Eagle Rock. There you see the last of the JV wrapping up today's dual meet as Defiance Girls Golf welcoming Wapakoneta. Brent Balbinot alongside Josh Bush. We don't quite have all the individual scorecards in yet, but the first two foursomes have carded, and unless something completely unexpected has happened, Defiance is going to win this meet. We've already seen a team score of 216. We're just waiting for the official score for Wapakoneta, as your medalist will be Defiance's Ava Hesselschwart, shooting a 48. And Josh, that's the first time this season she has shot over a 39. That's just a testimony to how tough the course was for everybody today.
Yeah, it definitely played. It played so tough, especially the greens here today. We saw how many times today that we had, putts that just
Putts,
by the hole.
4 putts.
Yeah, I mean, it was to say a rough day would be an understatement here today.
Congratulations going out to Ava Hesselschwart. Again, I know she's not going to be happy with a 48, but she is the medalist today. As a matter of fact, Defiance takes the top 3 individual spots. You've got the scorecard there.
Yeah, Ava comes in at 48. Kaylee Harsha, Kenley Manriquez next at a 51, and then Kaylee Harsha a 53. the top 3 scores for the individuals here today. And then Hannah Lee, a 53 also today, the sophomore from Wapakoneta, the top scorer for the Redskins today. Emily Koppenstein, a 54 as well. So we're still waiting on that final group to get their scorecards in for Wapakoneta.
So what we can say, though, is congratulations to the Bulldogs with the win. Really no rest for the weary, as there's just no time to practice in the fall. You got to do that individually. As a matter of fact, I'm looking down here, and let's see. I will find it for you in a second where Defiance is next week. As you can see, we do a lot of chicken scratch as far as our
as long as you can read it.
Sitting. Absolutely. Rest assured, though, if you're both coaches, what do you take from today? What do you tell them? What do you like? And also, what do you flush?
Well, I think you have to go through and find what were your good holes today. Okay, we saw Kenley Manriquez, and just pointing that out. She had a par on number 6. I mean, we knew Coach Murphy talked about that when he was here a little bit ago. Talked about the fact that she had a really good hole number 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough. That's a tough one. I mean, we saw a par on 7. Coming down through there, so you find those ones that you did well.
Par 7, you got to feel good about something.
Absolutely, you want to feel good about anything you can, and then it's what could we have done differently? Did we were we not reading the greens the right way, or what was going on today? And again, I think you also tell your players on both sides, look at the scorecards. Okay,
nobody shot well.
Nobody shot anything that was going to get you down in the 30s. I mean, it just wasn't happening today, and no matter what. So I think when you look at it here today, you just go, hey, listen, we played the best round we could. The course played just different, more difficult than we've seen it play before, and what do you do?
What we're going to do is take a quick time out. We are now deep into our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-meet show in this case. We're going to wrap it all up. We're also going to let you know where Defiance is going to be next. The Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-meet show continues right after this on DCTV Sports.
Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, Stadium Drive in Defiance, and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com.
Discover great job skills training at Northwest State. With over 50 different programs available, there is something for everyone. Providing hands-on training and education is the community college advantage.
Stamball Jewelers is your trusted source for diamonds, fine jewelry, watches, and gifts. Whether you're looking for a dazzling engagement ring, a timeless anniversary gift, or a present for someone special, Stamball Jewelers has something for every occasion. Visit us today and discover why we've been serving the community since 1948. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Back to wrap up things at Eagle Rock. It is the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center post-meet show. Brent Balbinot alongside Josh Bush as Defiance knocks off Wapakoneta, a dual meet here this afternoon. 216, the final team score for the Bulldogs. We do not have a final team score yet for Wapakoneta, but rest assured Defiance is the winner here this afternoon. The medalist again for Defiance, the sophomore, Ava Heschel-Schwartz. She shot a 48. Matter of fact, she was the only one in the 40s, correct? Nobody else even broke 50.
Yeah, that was the only sub-50 score today on the entire leaderboard. And again, not where she wants to be, I know, but you take it for what it is today. Look, on a tough course.
It doesn't matter what the sport. I don't care if it's football, baseball, basketball, in this case golf. The true measure of an athlete is if you're not having your best performance, can you still lock in and be the best on that day? And
Sure.
I know Ava won't necessarily be happy with a 48. First time this season she shot over a 40, but she still was good enough.
Yeah. And she's still the medalist here today.
Yeah.
And that's, and for Defiance, you look at this as a league win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're knocking off a league opponent out of the Western Buckeye League today, and those are things that you look at. You got goals for your team every year, and then part of that is we want to win a league. Got to do it at each and every match.
They got a chance to do it here. Anything in closing as we wrap up?
I'd say, you know what, just kind of wash today out. Put it behind you. You know, you're going to get the bag out and you're going to play another round, and just chalk it up to a really tough course on a Monday morning.
Well, next up for Defiance, it will be a little over a week from today. It will be next Thursday as they are down at St. Mary's. It will be at Northmore. So that's, of course, along the lake. Basically, it's in Salina, but they've got an opportunity to go 2-0 in conference. That's all you can ask.
Yeah, absolutely. You keep checking off those wins against your league opponents one after another, and that's goal number one.
Our next broadcast will come from the Gridiron. It'll be the battle for the River Rock to open up the 2024 high school football season, as Defiance will be at Napoleon. Everybody's going to turn their eyes to this one here in about 4 days, Josh.
Yeah, and high school football is back. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe we're at high school football season already, but excited to head over to Napoleon and see what happens in this year's edition of the River Rock Rivalry.
We will hope that you will join us on Friday as well. That's going to do it for our coverage here this afternoon. For Josh Bush, I'm Brent Balbanon. A big thank you going out to all of our crew. Folks, to set up.
Been all over the place today.
All over the place is not an understatement. These guys have been all over this course, and they've done more than yeoman's work. A fantastic job. We also want to thank our sponsors for helping make this broadcast a possibility, and as always, you, the fan, for tuning in. Final score again today: Defiance knocks off Wapakoneta. Team score 2-16 to pick up the victory. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.
Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center. Personalized service and quality products in a friendly and caring atmosphere. Schedule your appointment today. Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center, Stadium Drive in Defiance, and online at visionsource-brunswickeye.com.